Am I coming through loud enough still?
Yes.
Okay. So I made some adjustments over here.
And we are live.
All right. Hi, everyone.
From the industrial wastelands of Michigan to the fruited plains of Iowa, this is the American Reef Factory.
You are the dead. Remain exactly where you are. Make no move until you are ordered.
We burn them to ashes and then burn the ashes. That's our official motto.
Now we can see you. Clasp your hands behind your heads. Stand out in the middle of the room. Stand back to back.
Who can explain the fascination of fire? What draws us to it, whether we're young or old?
Here comes a candle to light you to bed. Here comes a chopper to chop off your head.
And welcome to the American Reef Factory podcast. This is Nathan.
This is Conlon.
Andrew.
All right, we're back. We're back again. And it's going to be amazing.
We skipped the time warp.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not doing that. Yep.
So let's not do the time warp again.
Oh, it's fun when it goes the other way. We have a 25-hour day.
I wish we just keep that and fuck spring. I don't like stay on the same schedule. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, there's always, every time we do this, there's always argument in the press. It's like, should we stop daylight savings time? Why do we do it? And then after a week, everyone gets bored and they're like, oh, whatever, daylight savings time. Because in the fall, no one's complaining. Like, everyone's like, yeah, woohoo, extra hour. But yeah, that's so we skip that because I'm just getting too old to do that. I have no desire to test the boundaries of physical exhaustion. I know what the limits are.
You just tell your boss, like, hey, whenever I show up, that's when work starts. And it's not really a time thing. It's like, I'll do the same amount of work in shorter hours. You'll love it.
Well, actually, a lot of people do operate on that theory at work now. It's getting out of control. Well, this is a bad time of year at the auto plants because you got tax return, which actually means something to some people. I guess if you have a bunch of kids, it's like a small lottery check, and then you got profit sharing like tumbles right after that. So yeah, it's like last Friday was a ghost, or last Thursday was a ghost town for me. Everyone got their big profit sharing checks. Like, I'm not going to work today. Like, yeah, because I know once you have money, you don't need any more, right? It's just, it's all bets are settled. And we're good.
We're going to spend the entire day properly investing this for our future.
Heroin keeps its value, right?
I just wonder how much, because I forget, I think GM is at the end of February, and then we're the middle of March, and I think Chrysler is too. And you know they're just like stocking up cocaine like it's concrete sacks of it. It's like, oh, profit sharing time. It's going to be a good one this year. They're just like bringing in a boat, just full of drugs, and whatever else people want to do. Speaking of tax return check, I had some adventures at the Murphy house this week. You know, because we get our federal taxes done than our state taxes, and sometimes I get more back in state than federal. And our federal check came like a week and a half after we filed because we e-file it. And our state, it's like 6 weeks. It's like, well, what's going on with our state check? So Stacy finally got through with someone. It's like, oh, your check's being held because you filed for 6 weeks of unemployment that you weren't due. Not me, my wife. And she's like, I'm a nurse. We never file for unemployment. I always have a job. I have never filed for unemployment in 20 years. And they're like, oh, it's showing 6 weeks. And it's like, oh, really? What address? Because they had the social security number, completely different address. She's like, that's not where I live. I only lived in one place in Michigan, and that's this house. And they're like, oh, okay. They immediately transferred her to the fraud division. Somebody got her social security number and filed for a bunch of unemployment in Florida. Interestingly, not surprisingly, but interestingly, and they were a couple. They were from Senegal or Nigeria, or so. They're in prison now. They caught them. It was like $20 million worth of.
Like for this, or just before this happened?
For this.
Okay.
This happened like last year, but the only way Michigan's catching it and doing their bookwork is when you call them and say, hey, where's my tax return? Oh, yeah, we're withholding it because you filed for unemployment. It's like, I've never been on unemployment. Well, you need to talk to these people then and stuff. Who knows when that's going to show up? It's like, yay, identity theft. So, but it's not identity theft. They just had your name and social security number. They didn't have anything else. So, like, they're not putting a bunch of charges on your Amazon account or something. So it's weird. I mean, they didn't like try to sweat us or anything. It's like, yeah, we're talking like $300 here. You know, if you want to look at all my tax information and see what me and my wife made together last year, I'm not looking at doing jail time over $300. So if you think I filed a bunch of bogus unemployment, you better think again. It's not. This isn't what we do. So, but yeah, that's who knows when or if that'll ever happen. That's always a fun conversation to have. Oh, well, see, your identity was stolen by people that came to this country illegally and then committed a bunch of like computer fraud, and then they got arrested, and now they're in jail in federal prison in Florida for a couple years. A couple years, they've inconvenienced me. They should ride the lightning.
Not only do they get to stay in this country they illegally enter, but they also get free room and board.
Fuck that. Put them in the electric chair and let me pull the switch. Where's my $300? $300, motherfucker.
Put popcorn in his throat. Ha ha ha.
Oh. Fill them with flammable liquids.
Give me my pain pinata.
Yeah, I want to destroy someone's entire being over a couple $100.
For that, you're a better person than most people that live in Florida. They'll do it over a cookie or something.
Oh my God, yeah. Because she told me all this, and my Stacy was like, and guess which state this all originated out? I was like, tell me. She says, it's your favorite state. I was like, oh, Florida.
The human waste bin that is Florida. They say all the bacteria goes to the tip, and that's the tip.
North America's flaccid penis.
Infected and overgrown with syphilis.
Or as I like to call it, the future. Pretty soon, Oklahoma will be as fucked up as Florida. Might already be. I don't know. Yep, $20 million worth of fraud for unemployment in Michigan, filed from Florida. Okay. Something screams inside job here. I don't know.
And most people bitch in Iowa about how hard it is to get unemployment here or whatever, yet you can fucking apparently do it across state lines.
Well, Michigan is a unique example because guys like me, like last year, I had a week of unemployment. Sometimes I have 3 or 4 weeks, was how the auto industry swings, or in the case of last year, whatever sweatshop they were buying parts from exploded. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Michigan's one of the states where it's really easy to file for unemployment. You do it all over the computer. I did it over my phone the last time. It was like boom, boom, answer 3 questions. Okay, and my check's direct deposited 3 days later. Like, it's really fast here, and that was supposed to help ease paperwork on their end and get us the money, so I don't have to call people and shit and fuck around with it. But apparently, some other people like looked upon the gentle West as, we can exploit this. These guys are wide open. So
I'd say with the 3 questions. Are you unemployed? Yes. Do you need money? Yes. Can we send it to you? No.
There's like actually 10 questions. It's weird shit like, were you available to work? Yes. Did you work? No. Did you accept any payments, including cash, for part-time or casual labor? No. I mean, who would say yes? Like, duh. That's why it's called casual labor. Like, yeah, I was moving drywall, you know, and the guy paid me cash under the table. Let me give you his name, too. Ridiculous. But they have to ask, I guess.
Well, it's just like you know how like all employment applications like ask you committed a felony. They know anyway, but it's just kind of a pretense to like, hey, we can just throw this away. We don't have to actually fucking read it.
They hit the trash button.
Have you? Yeah, it's like the third question, like after name and address. Have you committed a felony? If so, don't bother continuing the application. But sadly, when they have hiring fairs for like temporary summer help and temporary workers, which is all we hire now, we don't hire full-time workers anymore. They'll say specifically in the flyer, like, we don't care if you have a felony. It's like felons can apply to work at the big three. Now, if it's a violent felony, like, you know, a felony is like, oh, I had a bunch of drugs. Okay, whatever. Now, if the felony is I murdered 6 people but got off, you know, on some technicality, we probably don't want you. Or we do. I don't know. It depends how much fun we want it to be that day.
I heard something weird the other day about the law system in Japan. It has a 99% conviction rate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's hard to like actually go to trial, but once you go to trial, you are fucked.
Yeah, it's basically it's based on the German system, where once you're in the courts, it's ordeal by innocence. It's not like us, where the state has to prove you're guilty. You have to prove you're innocent. The state still has all the resources, but you have to prove innocence. Also, the level of policing in Japan and their investigation skills are awful. Because that's why Aum Shinrikyo got away with murdering over 400 people in different locations and places, because the police were like, well, we didn't actually find a body, because they were really good at destroying bodies completely in their cult compounds. And the families were like, yes, but where is she then? Well, they didn't have a body. We can't charge them. It's like, did you interrogate them? Well, no, if we don't have a body, we can't go ask people questions, because it's, you know, it's their right to privacy. Well, you have a lot of Canadian law enforcement like that too.
Well, the weird thing that happened here, it was a news story about a video game. There's an actor in a video game, and so I don't know how to describe this. Essentially, he was caught for possession of cocaine, but didn't actually possess cocaine. He just tested positive for having taken cocaine.
So he was possessing it in his bloodstream?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. We're not getting wrapped around the axle in minutia there.
And like a repercussion of it is not necessarily, it wasn't necessarily required, but it's like a cultural thing, is that he's basically been erased from social media and everything.
Okay.
And they've taken him out of the game.
Okay. So he is like an Orwell, a 1984 unperson now?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Well, that's one way of doing things.
Well, I mean, it's like, see, that's the weird thing. It's not the government didn't do that to it. It was like a social thing where, like, we come together to ruin this man's life.
Yeah, well, that's why they don't have, like, effective courts and stuff over there, because shame is, like, still a thing in Japan. Unlike here, where, like, nobody has... Just go to any Walmart on a Tuesday. No one has any shame here anymore. It's like... the society here actually encourages, like, the crazier the behavior is, the more phone cameras go up. It's like, yeah. Yeah, a lot of stuff in Japan's really cultural. Well, in all of Asia, Korea's the same way. It's like the reason you do good in school is not to get ahead. That's part of it, but it's mainly so you make your parents happy. Because if your parents are ashamed of you, then you might as well kill yourself. And a lot of people do. That's just the groupthink thing, that groupthink motto. I don't think there's a Western country that has a form of that I could imagine, except for maybe like the Amish. Don't they shun people that, like, get out of line?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Your horse too hard or something. It's like, well, we can't talk. Or at least you got caught beating your horse.
I don't know, it was like Poland or something, where it's like it has like a polar opposite of something, where it's like it's the most happiest country that also has the most suicides.
Denmark.
Oh, Denmark. Okay.
Yeah, they'll always tell you that. There's one Danish guy was doing an interview, and he was like, I don't know, a social like an interview guy over there, and he's like, "Well, think America, you know, we are the happiest country, but we're not the wealthiest. You might need to change the way you do things." And then like this, it does this smash cut to the suicide rate. It's like, here's Denmark and here's America way down here. It's like, well, we're so fucking miserable. Why aren't we killing it? Are we just lazy? Too lazy to kill ourselves?
Also, don't they allow euthanasia there or something?
Yeah, I mean, they have a pretty relaxed attitude.
But it's like government, like it's like a government program. Like you can select to like have the government kill you.
Yeah, I think you have to have a terminal illness though.
Okay, yeah. You
You
can't
just be like,
I'm quitting. It's like the suicide booth from Futurama.
Yeah, just punching out, sitting down. Well, today sucked at work. I think I'm ready to make the ultimate decision. One day? Hold on.
Well, I mean, I think it's because they're the happiest country, but they're all pessimistic about it. Like, well, it's never going to get any better.
Yeah, we've
Quit while I'm ahead.
we've hit critical mass on the joy meter. Time to pull that chute.
We go. So
Yeah.
I didn't know Denmark had the highest suicide rate. That's fucking weird.
Oh, it always bounces.
Well,
around.
not like out of all, but like in
just
comparison to
comparatively,
like its
yeah.
like its happiness rating or whatever.
Oh.
It's like the happiest country to kill itself.
Yeah, it's like two it's like two Pareto points on a chart that really don't seem. It's like, how does that coincide? I think it's Japan and Korea and one of those Scandinavian countries. They're always vying for number one. We'd be up there too, but like I've said before, there's a lot of these overdoses that seem to happen in America. It's like, oh, he overdosed on drugs. What a terrible loss. It's like, do you think a guy that's been using intravenous drugs for 8 years just up and fucking overdosed all of a sudden? That might be the case if they're mixing a hot batch. I think about half of those are just people that wanted to just kind of float away.
Or Uncle Buck was cleaning the shotgun in the bathroom again.
Yeah. He was cleaning a loaded double-barreled shotgun, and he really wanted to get it clean because he sawed the barrels down and everything. And he actually pulled both triggers simultaneously. My favorite suicide is the revolver suicides, where the revolvers hold 6 to 5 shots, and the guy shot himself like 8 times in the head with a revolver. It's like, oh man, he was died. Like, yeah, that's, and the gun was found like 10 feet across the room. It's like, yeah, that's obviously suicide. That was like New York in the 50s had a lot of those suicides. Just,
Yeah.
Multiple gunshot wounds to the head.
Well, that sounds like some Russian shit too.
Oh, well, the Russians.
I slipped and fell on a shotgun shell.
What was my favorite Putin? This reporter wrote something I didn't like, and this lady was shot. She apparently killed herself walking down the stairs in her apartment, and she killed herself with a full-length Remington 870 pump-action shotgun. She shot herself 3 times in the chest with it. And the Moscow police show up. Is like, oh, it's suicide. Terrible loss. We love her. Her prose and her writing will never be the same in Moscow. It's like, do you know the kind of fucking balls it would take? Point a shotgun at your chest and pull the trigger once, let alone go crack that sucker off 4 times. And you're doing it like walking down the stairs. This is my hill to die on. This is where it goes.
It should just get more elaborate. Where it's like, yeah, she killed herself from across roof, another building inside the street. Shot herself with scope sniper rifle through hard.
I used someone else's finger to do it.
Killed herself with a crossbow.
From 500 yards away.
Just push that sucker right through her head. It just twang. It just slowly worked its way through.
It's funny. She hog-tied herself, threw herself in the trunk, and then drove the car off the bridge.
We think she's telepath.
We believe in that here in Russia. We have
Please.
strong psychic.
Please, before you tie yourself up, throw yourself in your trunk, and drive yourself over the bridge, call the suicide hotline first. We don't need any more of these deaths.
Or don't call, send a telepathic message. Yeah, there was a lot of those suicides in New York in the 40s and 50s. You know, people shoot themselves with more bullets than the gun can hold, and sometimes shot themselves in the back of the head. That was like really, like, I know.
I'm sure a mob guy was like, "Hey Tony, I want to show you a trick," and then it's like, "What is it?" And then he shoots him 20 times and leaves one gun by him. He's like, "I'll never go to jail now."
Yeah,
It's like,
I'll never catch you.
it's like, it doesn't even, the caliber doesn't even match. Not even from the same gun. Just fucking throw whatever extra gun you got laying around.
Guys pulled a 9mm hollow points like a 22 revolver on the floor.
Oh, I was watching this fucking. I guess 2020 is still around, which I didn't fucking know about because that
I
shows
didn't know that either. Wow.
Why wouldn't 2020 be around? It's been around forever.
I just
at some point.
well, yeah, because like Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters are either both dead or retired, so I figured.
But that doesn't hinge on them.
No, I know it doesn't
it's a
hinge
news
on them. I'm just
show.
saying that was like the era of them or whatever, and
Yeah.
like they got new anchors and had people go on. But I figured like news is dead on most like actual channels anymore. There's like actual news stations and shit, but there's not like a lot of extra news programs on stuff anymore.
Oh, it's just
besides
60
morning
minutes
shows.
in 2020.
Well, there's news, and then there's what we call nowadays news. Because nothing's real, remember. If it doesn't correspond with how you feel about the world, it's fake.
But anyway, there's this
2020, yeah, go ahead.
there's this guy that was supposedly hired by another guy to kill his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend and stuff like that, or wanted him to kill him. And then it showed the murder weapon in this guy's series of events, and he was like, yeah, I hopped his fence and sat in his backyard waiting for him to come home, and, you know, I fell asleep, and he saw me, and he tapped on the window, and then I shot him 3 times, and then shot at him some more, and then I broke into his house and saw him lying there dying, so I stabbed him to death, and then ran away. And then it showed the gun, and it's like a pocket fucking pistol that you couldn't hit somebody more than 5 feet away with accurately, and somehow he like fucking shot him like twice in the head, like 3 times in the chest. And this is all from like at the back or like the middle of your backyard. It's like a good 50-60 feet away through a window, and then all this other shit. And then it's like, how the fuck, like, it's like this guy's just like some out of work like salesman like that sits on the couch all day and eating Cheetos and shit. And it's like, how the fuck did he hit this guy with like every goddamn bullet and killed him?
Well, my favorite part of that story is the following him home and stabbing him to death. It's like that's a weird element. It's like, I'll show you, god damn it.
Well, because this all happened in Texas and shit.
Oh, okay.
And so fucking the part I didn't believe, since it was in Texas, was that he like kind of like fell asleep and didn't notice the guy came home, and the guy like actually like, hey, I'm on this big property, I'm a plastic surgeon, I have all this, you know, extra space, so I just see somebody sleeping in my backyard in this gated community, so I'm just gonna politely knock on the window and ask him if he's okay and shit. It's like, no, I don't buy that. It's Texas. He's getting a gun out before he does anything. It's not gonna happen.
Hey, buddy, are you all right? Before I shoot you.
No, just shoot him first before you ask me if he's all right.
Hey, buddy, you all right? I should say, bang, bang. Hey, buddy, you all right? Yeah, bang, bang. Hey, buddy, you all right?
The weird part too is the way 2020 like tells their stories now. It's not just like a news anchor or somebody like narrating it. It's like they interview all these people associated with the story, and they all tell the story like 2 sentences at a time. So somebody will say 2 sentences, and it switches, like the local meteorologist says 2 sentences about it, and then somebody else says 2 sentences about it, and it's like, what the fuck's going on here? And like the news anchors like interview themselves about shit. It is like, did Thomas think he was gonna go to jail? He didn't know.
Well, yeah, because that's how they do a lot of their like murder mystery stuff, where it's
Yeah.
like they're not gonna like do the full work and like follow a through line. They're just gonna like set up all this stuff and like ask questions that they're not gonna answer. It's like, it's up to you to decide if you're a jury member who now can't join the jury because you watched this show and have received the information.
No,
Vote now.
just something where I thought it was a very, compared to how I remember that show, I thought it was very lazy and very, it was like a fucking hour and 40 minutes with the commercials removed, for the episode we watched. I'm like, when the fuck was 2020 like 2 hours long for a shitty ass murder mystery for loves?
Maybe it was a special.
Yeah, maybe. It's like, goddamn.
I was looking up. I was reading something once about crimes that were committed, and I forget what I was in reference to, but it was like one of the things that stood out, and there was no more information because I wanted to know more. It was like murder weapon, pistol, murder weapon, knife. It was all these shootings and killings that had happened. I think it was somewhere out west, and then one of them's like murder weapon, jackhammer. It's like, wait, what? Go back. I want to know more, but there wasn't anything more. It was just like, this guy killed this guy on this day, murder weapon, jackhammer. It's like, whoa, how did we end up there? I assume this happened on a job site.
Is this blunt force trauma, or you tie the guy down and jackhammer?
Now, like, they have battery powered jackhammers, like Bosch makes them.
Yeah,
but they don't need air compressors and stuff anymore. I mean, the big ones do, but they have like for home use, and it's like, wow, who's breaking out the jackhammer? Come here, god damn it! And you're just running with a 70-pound jackhammer. Wait, show you who's boss.
Maybe they fell for the old gag, like, get down here and look at this, Tony. Just bam. Yeah.
Stare into this hole. Let's see, we had a mass shooting this week. Again,
It was like,
Well, we didn't have it.
I was like, in which country? New
Western
Zealand?
civilization had a mass shooting this week in New Zealand. 49 people dead in a mosque, or two mosques.
Two mosques.
And then this guy apparently live streamed it
On Facebook.
Oh, great. Yeah, just killed a bunch of people. Loved Donald Trump. Had a whole rant about everything he was going to do and why I'd been planning this for a long time, apparently.
Apparently, he just listed off all of, like, the Republicans' talking points, and so people are mad about that.
Yeah. Well, I think it sounds like this was done. This guy just wants to cause chaos. But yeah, that was.
Well, which people are mad about the Republican talking points? The Republicans or the?
Oh, I guess everyone.
Oh.
Well, mostly the Republicans are mad. It's like, no, you're changing our message into something evil. It's like, no, we didn't.
Actually, he's not. He's following your thinking to its logical end. But yeah, that was. Now, how does PewDiePie come into this?
Oh, what was it?
Well,
was like,
he's
he
had a
said-
lot of racist comments that has gotten his videos.
No, this guy said something about PewDiePie. About,
Oh.
like, I'm a big fan.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's been, like, there's been weird stuff around PewDiePie because, a lot of it's incidental. Some of it seems poor choices on his part. But yeah, it's like, because he's the biggest white guy celebrity on YouTube.
Okay.
He just ends up being I'm not sure, like, held up because like the second biggest YouTube channel, I guess, is some like Indian dance channel or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And they made sure that PewDiePie was number one somehow by making fake accounts to subscribe to his channel or something.
Oh, so it's all just tied into this "we hate brown people."
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. I don't know. I know that's a guy who plays video games and he says stupid things sometimes.
Yeah.
But he's like worth a fortune for playing video games.
Oh yeah, 8 million subscribers. One ad will probably give him like $1 million.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, this is another example of this wonderful computer world that people live in now, where they just sweat in these rooms and think about what's the worst thing I could do, and let me find a bunch of shit online that reinforces everything. Because I guess he had weird shit written on the guns, like sayings and stuff like that, and a lot of it has to do with something called QAnon, which is some conspiracy thing. And
Oh,
Yeah. It's,
fuck! What was that?
QAnon's like basically Democrats like fucking molesting kids and shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's all Pizzagate and
Okay, yeah.
alien babies eating people, or people eating babies or something. I don't know.
You know, people are well adjusted when they believe all that fucking horse, any kind of horse
Well, the
shit
thing
like
is,
that.
I used to like conspiracy theories a lot, and now it's just all dumb. It's like, oh, come on, fuck that. That's not. You can't make me buy into that.
The military's taking over Walmart to do military top secret training facility. It's like
Yeah, like all the WalMarts when they were closing them. It's like these are connected by underground tunnels, and this is how they're going to launch the operation to what was it? Crimson Falcon
no, it was Jade Helm.
Jade Helm, or yeah, it was something.
Yeah,
Like, come on, guys, you're not even trying anymore. You're just throwing shit together randomly.
it's like, hey, you know that subway that closed 6 blocks away? It's also connected to this giant conspiracy of the FBI to indict our local mayor for child porn trafficking. Like, how is that connected to subway closing?
Is it on the electrical grid? Then it's connected.
What do these 3 people have in common? They breathe oxygen? Yes.
Earth
giant
oxygen.
conspiracy.
On the disk side of the flat Earth.
Yeah. Oh, the flat Earth. I told you I actually met
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Good. There's something weird I heard about that, like, flat earthers don't believe on Australia, like it's a myth. So,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I put something on Facebook about that.
So-
Australia's just a lie.
will
Yeah.
this like be a double thing? Like this never happened because New Zealand doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's really what this isn't even a false flag event. This is a false reality. It's a magical world some people live in.
I saw somebody living in a magical world. I mean, this is less evil. This is more like cute.
Yeah.
So there's a kid with he has Down syndrome, but let's not get mad. Let's not get sad about it.
I won't.
And he's walking around, waving his hand in his face, singing John Cena's entrance theme.
Cool.
And I knew exactly what he was doing.
Did you join in?
No, but I was like, yeah, you do you. You do you. Because John Cena has a thing where when he gets their opponent on the ground, he'll stand above him and he'll wave his hand in front of his face and say, "You can't see me," while the whole crowd says it at the same time. And then he does some stupid shit, bounces off the ropes, and then hits the guy in the face. So,
Somebody was just having a time.
yeah, he was having fun. He's just da. Like, you do you.
Yeah, I haven't really followed much on that whole thing. I just saw it and I was like, well, this is horrible. And I turned it off and started listening to a podcast and working on a model because that's how I deal with things.
Well, I mean, the aftermath of it was basically just that New Zealand was definitely considering, it sounds like they're going to ban, certain firearms in the country, and also Egggate or whatever. The fucking guy.
That was in Australia.
Well, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was
Sorry,
Australian,
Australia was that
like
one. But
senator or something, and saying like, "Yeah, see, this will happen when immigrants come into your country." And then a kid was just standing there, recording him, and then just smashes an egg on his head.
and then gets like knocked the fuck out and held down because he hit somebody with an egg for being a dickhead. It's like,
What kind of
yeah.
security does this guy have around him where a kid can get close to him with an egg?
Well, it looks like the kid was pretending to be like media or something. Like, I'm
Oh.
recording this, and then
Oh,
just smash. And then the kid just stands there and keeps recording. It's like, what are you gonna do? And then he fucking like knocks the kid out.
Yeah.
It's like you just blame immigrants getting killed by themselves. Why you think he's not gonna fucking hit a kid for fucking hitting put an egg on his
Yeah,
fucking
the
head?
senator guy was an asshole. So, but
Yeah. Oh yeah, when they say, well, yeah, Australia has some magical right wingers in their country. I've seen somebody had, what was it? It was campaign stuff from like the 80s, and it basically was like, you've heard the term WOG, right? Like people that speak British English and Australian English, they'll call non-white people WOGs.
does it have something to do with polywog, or is that something completely different?
I don't know. I know it's something they say. They call them coolies and wogs, and it's basically like our N-word but over there. And yeah, they had
YouTube. We don't know what we're saying. Don't take us down.
yeah. We don't have the accent to make it sound right. So, But yeah, they actually had that on campaign literature over there, like so and so is for the wogs, and it's like, wow, that's just right out there in the open, huh?
Mhm.
And this was in the 80s or 90s. I don't know.
In a country comprised entirely of immigrants.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They don't look too deep.
Hey, all of our ancestors were prisoners, but we're better than them.
Don't look too deep.
We killed and raped our way to the top, just like the Americans.
We survived this prison colony and fucked our way to number 1.
I mean, considering how fucking dangerous Australia is between all the animals that can fucking kill you, the horrible climate and the isolationism, wouldn't you just all come together more instead of just, like, hating each other over stupid shit like fucking skin color and crap?
Well, they were doing that, and then Facebook came along.
Oh, just like every other genocidal thing that Facebook has been involved in.
Yes.
Because, you know, they say they're blameless, but then they don't stop anybody from spreading hate speech and stupid shit.
Well, they do, but
Yeah.
it doesn't stop completely. You just have to get more. You gotta be more coy about it. Then you can slip through the Facebook censors.
Well, no, I mean, there's examples like there's not Nepal, fucking
Oh, and
the
other
country
countries.
the Dalai Lama's from.
Tibet?
Or was, yeah, Tibet. Where it should be, because there's a big fucking genocide going on there right now for Muslim population, because the people there have all these Facebook groups, but since there's only so many people in the world that fucking speak Tibet or Tibetan and shit like that in the local languages, obviously Facebook has a tough time policing things because they have.
Yeah, Facebook is like different around the world, so it has like different standards depending on what country it's in.
Yeah, but I mean, their standard around the world should still be the same thing. We don't allow.
No, no, it's not. Like Facebook and China is completely different from Facebook in America.
Yeah. You got to remember too the thing that Facebook, their conundrum, because they're a global service. It's like one man's ISIS is another man's freedom fighter. They really got to walk a line, because you can be like, well, obviously that's bad, and then it's like, no, those people we like those people or whatever. Who, I'm not just saying ISIS, but it's like, no, that's good that they're saying that. That's part of our culture and our history. You're not respecting us. And then in places where the government just controls the internet, and if the government's okay with these people being massacred, they'll be like, yeah, if you want to sell ads here, you got to let these people do their massacre speech. And they're like, okay, as long as there's money in it, do whatever the hell you want to. And yeah, there's not a lot of like Senegalese censor bots either. It's kind of hard to police all that. You heard did you see the Joe Rogan thing where the guy from Twitter and his lawyer were on there?
No.
Yeah, they were basically talking about this global problem, because they were talking about something just like you're talking about, where basically Twitter was used to disseminate a bunch of information about some massacre that occurred. And it's like, we don't speak that language enough to even, and no one's reporting these people. So by the time it's done, we're just getting the after action, because it's impossible. They got 4,000 employees and like 200 million tweets a day. It's like, good luck policing all that shit.
No, the thing, it's different with Twitter, because Twitter's still like a private company, so
Yeah.
they don't like they probably can't afford to hire more people to do that kind of policing. Where Facebook can, but don't.
Well, it's just all money.
Yeah.
Well,
You got to remember, that's always that giant dollar sign. Whatever the argument is, that's just floating around like a ghost in the background. That's the real motivation. You can argue in circles about how this is fucked up and that's fucked up, and yeah, we need to do better, and we're all going to hold hands and have a seance about how much we care about everything. But then there's that dollar sign just floating in and out of frame, because that's all it is. It's like, this is. I mean, but AM radio is the. What was somebody saying once? Like AM radio is like the biggest progenitor of genocide in world history, because any third world dictator can set up a AM transmitter that'll just reach into their country. That's how the Rwanda massacre occurred.
Huh.
Was the UN started a program. They wanted to give everyone these little wind-up radios so they could listen to like announcements about the weather or floods or whatever. And then whoever the dictator of the country was, it's like, let's go kill the other people and set up a radio transmitter to broadcast that message. And then everyone was staring at their radios, and it's like the magic box says to go kill these people, and I don't like them either because my grandpa didn't like them, and now the magic box is saying go, so let's go. So computers are just a more exaggerated version of the magic box. And radio messages come in, and nobody's, it's whatever the people that control it want the message to be. For whatever reason, if genocide's your thing, fine. If making a bunch of money and exploiting people's your thing, that's fine too. That's why they have lawyers, so we can talk our way around this.
But it's the thing where it's the same ignorance, no matter if you live in the United States or Rwanda or whatever part of the world you live in. It's just news ignorance. You get one fucking source of news, whether it be Fox News, Facebook, whatever, and that's your whole worldview.
Jesus, who's
There's
using
no other
Facebook as a news source?
A lot of people, apparently.
No, Facebook is a news. That's why I was talking about the genocide and shit, because it's like in some countries, Facebook is people's fucking news source.
Yeah.
Like 80% of that country says, told, what's your news source? Facebook.
Because, there was what was that, I don't know, was it like some green revolution or somebody in some Muslim country, some shit was going down, and the only way, like, the oppressed people were getting information out was through Twitter.
Oh, that was in Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was something where, like, they could get it around the firewall because of how Twitter was set up.
Yeah.
So that was like the only way you could get information out of the country.
Yeah, that was the Rose Revolution in Iran.
Yeah.
No, it's
that's the other thing is those people.
So that's the other side.
People figure out how to exploit how the thing works to get around it too. Because like if you just go on Facebook and just type in a horrible, like genocidal racist rant, yeah, they're gonna pull you down pretty quick because their bots are gonna recognize like, oh, these word shapes go together mean this, stop, block the account. But if you're speaking in an obscure language or you're speaking in English but in a weird coded language,
or you have a photo where like the text is like on like a cardboard thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then it's not reading it as text, it's just a picture.
Right. Yeah, so there's all kinds of ways around it. I mean, if you have to spread that message, though, I don't understand. I mean, again, if there's money and power in it, though, people do it. Like, why not?
No, I mean,
but it looks like Facebook is on a pretty big decline, so.
Yeah, we won't be talking about this in 5 years.
Well, it'll still be around. It's just like it has to be diverting somewhere. Apparently, it's Instagram or some shit, or no, what's the other one? Snapchat.
Yeah.
That's what the kids are using.
Well, it's all steaming towards a pretty harsh regulatory environment. They're gonna start pulling the brakes on this, and they have in other countries too. We wouldn't be the path breakers in that.
Well, it just depends, if somebody's making money off it. If they're not, then they won't care. It's like, internet piracy is large and abound.
Oh, internet pirates.
And it's all like peer-to-peer stuff. Whereas this is like centralized, there's stockholders and all that shit. Like, there's someone to blame.
They will be.
The sequel to There Will Be Blood.
Will be blamed. Radio waves going in. The new American dream is just not to be on social media. American dream and There Will Be Blood is to be away from everyone. Just make enough money where you never have to talk to anybody. What fun topics were there? I had a list up here. Oh, Overlord. I've seen that.
Yeah, that's all.
What do you think?
I don't have much to say about it other than it's fine.
Yeah, it's perfect for what it is.
It's like
exactly what I expected.
It's a really good B movie, and it's kind of just what it is. And I watched it, and I was like, yeah, okay. What I want to see is just take that whole crew and let them make basically like John Carpenter B movies. Like sign them onto a 3-picture deal and just make John Carpenter B movies, like high quality B movies.
I'd watch them.
Because like that one guy that was just okay, it is. I was gonna say the guy who plays Corporal looks like Kurt Russell. Just have him do John Carter,
only on son.
and it's Kurt Russell's son. Okay, so
Well, that's why he looks like Kurt Russell.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun movie. What about Captain Marvel? Did you see that?
I did not.
I
Andrew saw
did.
that.
Okay, what'd you think, Andrew? I didn't see it either. So
Well, my wife didn't like it,
okay.
and then I thought it was fine. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best Marvel movie. I'd say it's just exactly like Black Panther. It's a milestone in a quality, but it's by no means the great movie that everybody makes it out to be.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Well, the way Mike put it from Red Letter Media is like, if you're already invested all the Marvel movies, you might as well just see this one as well.
Well, I actually watched the first 5 minutes of the breakdown on it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't appreciate some of the things they were saying, except for, like, I mean, I know why they were trashing on Brie Larson pretty heavy, because she does come across as kind of bitchy. But at the same time, like, they fucking hated her completely in that movie. They would.
Well, I'm not sure they said they hated her. She just said her character didn't make sense because she was like all over the place.
Well, yeah, their character was all over the place. They said she was miscast because they think she did a good job of the character anyway. And it's just like, yeah, a lot of people bring up a point where it's like, yeah, diversity, Marvel, get a white woman to play Captain Marvel. And it's like, yeah, I know, but at the same time,
Wait, was there original ethnicity to Captain Marvel?
there's a Captain Marvel right now, it's a Pakistani girl.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, technically...
Oh, wait, isn't that Ms. Marvel?
Yeah, but it's still Captain Marvel, so...
Well, no, because Captain Marvel is different from Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel is a really big fan of Captain Marvel, and then she became all
Oh.
stretchy and shit.
Okay, I guess I
And she is
misunderstood.
Ms. Marvel, because Ms. Marvel became Captain Marvel. I don't know why I know this.
Okay.
I don't know any of this.
I guess I just got confused. I just figured it was like Spider Girl, where it was just basically like a different Captain Marvel, just younger. So I didn't like the art style, so I didn't read past the first issue. So I guess I didn't really know if there was like a real big connection or what the hell that was. But sorry.
I think I just looked it up on a Wikipedia.
All right, so yeah, there's only been it's basically just been a couple men and a couple women. They've all been white,
Okay.
as far as I know. So I mean, but also at the same time, like the movie does talk about Kree, but Kree seem to be kind of a collection society of like people that want to be for the greater good, which they do make fun of in Red Letter as like the greater good for like Shauna or not from Hot Fuzz and shit. But yeah, certain things like her character like not really fucking remembering anything, but then we kind of figure it out, and then she figures it out. Like, I wish they either just really got rid of the fucking amnesia bullshit and did something different, or done the amnesia bullshit and like not revealed anything until the big reveal, because then nobody is like, you're not just walking around being like, I know what happened, so why the fuck do we have to go through half an hour finding out what happened? Like, why couldn't it just like lock her memory when it, because like physically when she's in that chair or whatever, like it goes through all of her memory. I mean, it doesn't like do a whole like audio and puts tying everything together, but it does enough that you can fill in the pieces and shit. But it's still like, so why don't just like as soon as they unlock that with the device they're using on her, like why not just have her know at that point? What's the harm in that? She can go find her friend like she does in the movie anyway. She can go down, or keep exploring shit on Earth because that's where she gets trapped on, and wait for her crew to come, and then still do what she does in the fucking movie. So it wouldn't have changed much. It would have changed.
How's digital Samuel L. Jackson? Because from the trailers, it looks pretty good for like.
No,
what that
yeah,
is.
I thought it was like just like Samuel Jackson the whole entire. There wasn't like any like, oh, this just looks kind of off. I'd say Coulson looks off, probably just because he has more fucking hair. But like other than that, like there's like maybe one or two good jokes. It was really weird to see the Skrull as fucking good guys. That was fucking weird. Like they've never been the good guys in comic books at all. They're always evil, looking to take over Earth, and that's why I think the plot actually was believable for a long time. But like other than that, like is it Annette Bening? The older white woman that's in the. I guess you haven't seen. I don't know if she's in the trailers at all.
I don't think so.
But yeah, she was good. I wish her character was in the movie a little bit more, but like I said, flashbacks and then cut back to 90s and then flashbacks.
And why is she wearing a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt? Where did they get that from?
Well, it's like the grunge era, and they're in the West Coast or whatever, so it's like, oh, the grunge, because they keep changing her outfit, so it's like a leather jacket with a Nine Inch Nails shirt and a flannel shirt tied around her fucking hips and shit.
So they just pick it up at a store somewhere?
Yeah, she like tears it off a mannequin. So yeah, there's there's a couple weird fucking parts in that movie, and I don't really like some of the things they did, but I'll let you guys discover.
Will it be on video? Will it be on demand before Endgame comes out?
I don't know.
Or how long till Endgame comes out? It's only like
Next
a couple
month.
months, right? Next month? Shit.
It's like literally probably like 3.5 weeks away at this point.
Wow, I guess I probably gotta go see that.
I mean, I wouldn't say.
So
I mean, I wouldn't say you
You
have
can.
to.
It's on Netflix.
I mean, the end credit sequence is basically just her like meeting the Avengers in a second. So, because like, oh, the pager went off, and then it's like, oh, it's like we better start that pager again. It could be signaling something really important. And then she's like, what happened to Nick Fury? Like that's the end credit sequence. I'll spoil that. Otherwise.
Good. I can leave when the credits roll.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, not that all the end credit sequence, like probably Guardians of the Galaxy, are the ones that put the best effort into the end credit sequence.
I think I would just like stop waiting for the end credit sequences. I think that. I think the last one I stayed for was at Infinity War. It's like, because like after that ending, it's like, Jesus Christ, what's the what's the after credit
Just
sequence?
Ant-Man eating nachos.
crying in a Denny's bathroom.
No, I mean, yeah, the end credit was actually nice because it did tease the next movie, and like you know what happened to Nick Fury since he wasn't even touched on in the whole movie.
The after credit sequence for Endgame should just be the after credit sequence of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Just Thor like in a bathroom. What are you still doing?
Yeah.
Maybe. It'll be interesting to see because like there's been some people that have speculated what's gonna go down, like who's gonna actually come back or not. Because they're like, well, technically Spider-Man has to because fucking the trailer set up for the fucking next movie that comes out this summer.
Well, I mean that could be in between or whatever.
Yeah.
But
That's set up before Infinity War, I heard.
okay.
That's what I heard. I don't know. I don't follow this stuff very closely, but I did wonder about that, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I think I'm not sure if it's obvious that they'll build like a new Avengers team because like everyone who didn't go away in the blink or the snap was the original Avengers team.
True.
So you kill all them off or have them like go on their merry way, and then you have a new Avengers team.
When James Gunn's been rehired for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, which there's a cool kind of like announcement video of that where he just like walked into a room with a bunch of people like in pirate makeup and costume from like the space or whatever, like the guys that Mary
Star-Lord,
Poppins
right?
y'all hangs out with or whatever.
Yeah.
His buddies from like I can't fucking think of
I like
it.
the tweet from what was it, the Wakiti or whatever the guy who directed.
Taika or
The third Thor movie.
yeah.
Oh, Ragnarok?
And he like wrote a tweet like responded. He's like, "Wait, I thought I was doing this."
That guy's a weirdo. I've seen him interviewed. It's like he's just having the time of his life. What was his thing before? Was he like Flight of the Conchords or something?
No,
he might. Well, he did. He did. Did he do What We Do in the Shadows? Was that him, or did he do other things?
I don't think it was.
Was that what? There's one where it's like a kid. On an
No,
adventure.
it's the guy from Jurassic Park and a kid like stuck in the outback or whatever, and he's framed for kidnapping the kid and shit, and people are trying to find him. That was his movie before Thor Ragnarok. I don't know what else he's known for.
Yeah, he's mostly a director, but he's also like a comedian too, right?
Yeah. I thought he worked on Flight of the Conchords.
I think so. Let's see.
That's where he started, at least.
Oh, he did that Eagle versus Shark movie? Oh, wait, no, that's actor. Never mind. Let me look up his directing credits. Apparently, he's directing a Time Bandit series.
Cool.
Let's see here. A lot of TV work. What was Boy? I don't remember that one. Shit. Yeah, he did. He directed some Flight of the Conchords. Oh, and he directed Eagle versus Shark too. Or as well.
Yeah, I always meant to watch that movie. I never did.
I don't know. I just remember the trailer is like it's like a boy and a girl in these weird shark and eagle costumes, and it's like a alt. It's like an alt comedy
Romance movie type thing.
So there's another trailer out for Brightburn.
Yeah, it makes it look even more interesting and good.
Yeah, I might actually go see that.
Oh yeah, he did direct What We Do in the Shadows.
I thought he did, but I wasn't trying to lump it because he's from New Zealand didn't mean like
Hunt for the Wilder People is the one with Sam Neill. Yeah, I've not seen that trailer, so
yeah,
you guys can explain away.
Well, it's just more of an extrapolation on. It's an even scarier version of the first one they did. It's like because you don't know. It's like the kid seems truly evil. Like, oh, he just wants to kill people.
Oh, he's not just like has god powers and then we're ants to him. It's like he's evil.
Yeah, he seems to be genuinely like. Well, he's pushed around a lot and bullied, like kind of like Clark Kent was. Only he just goes another direction with it because he just discovers these powers and he's just like, I'm just going to kill as many people as I can.
Because instead of helping people and trying to make society better, he decides to burn it all down.
Yeah, because there's like a picture of him standing.
The Seth Rollins of. God, you're not going to understand that.
Yeah, it's going deep on me there. No, there's just like he's near a plane crash and it has that weird double B symbol for Brightburn. It looks like the Kabbalistic Blair Witch symbol. That's the symbol because he draws it all over the place, and it's carved into the plane engine. It's like, oh, he brought that plane down. He caused the plane down. And his eyes glow and shit, like when he flies out of the dark and just kills people. Yeah, so that's interesting. That's either going to be really good or just kind of marginal. I don't know which.
Well, I don't know how long it's been sitting around, if it's something that actually got shelved or if it's something that actually went out as soon as they made it. So
it's been around a while. It was supposed to be out in November 2018, so I don't know if that's good, or I don't know if how much is related to the James Gunn controversy because he was a producer on this.
Oh, is he a producer? Okay, I thought he was like directing it under like a different name after the tweet fiasco.
Well, he's listed as a producer, and his name's pretty prominent. So I don't know. Maybe he did actually direct it, because, like, what was the movie that, like, who directed Poltergeist? But it was actually Steven Spielberg, Tobe Hooper.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
but he was credited as the director, but really Steven Spielberg directed the whole thing.
Well, so who's IMDb should have who the director is for Brightburn. I mean, it has theatrical release, so I can't see.
Well, it's some like weird like Russian or Polish name, but I thought that was like a pseudonym that James Gunn was using. But
because I mean, you should be able to click on their name and see what else they've done,
yeah.
And if it's like a bunch of weird shit that doesn't really connect.
David Yarvesky.
I can't.
That sounds like a made-up name.
David Yarvesky is a director and editor known for Guardians of the Galaxy, Guild, and the Belko Experiment.
That was a weird one.
Oh, the Belko Experiment?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that once.
There was a similar movie that came out that I actually ended up enjoying a lot more and watching before I watched that one, so I just never got around to watching the Belko Experiment. It seems similar.
It reminded me of a lot of things. It seems like a really long, violent episode of the Twilight Zone almost.
Okay, it looks like he's like a. Oh, what is he? Because it doesn't have him editing either of those movies or directing them. So he must have like, I don't know, maybe he was like a.
Maybe he isn't real or not. We got to figure that out.
Let's see here. What's second unit? Nope, not there either. Nope. Nope. He was miscellaneous crew on the Foco experiment. Apparently, he was post-production consultant. Whatever the fuck that means.
He might be a.
This sucks.
He might be a stand-in for Gunn then.
Even though at this point, I don't know if anybody even fucking remembers that shit anymore to be that upset about it. But
no, but he does have like actual films to his
Yeah.
name that aren't James Gunn.
Yeah.
But the under his quick biography of the big names he's attached to, like none of it's like, yeah, he didn't do anything with it. He did direct like he directed shorts around the Guardians of the Galaxy and did some video game stuff, but he didn't necessarily do anything with the actual Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Oh, okay.
But oh well.
Whatever. It'll be fun. So we watched a movie this week.
Oh wait, hold on. I have some piracy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yarr.
This is the PS Vita.
Okay.
I was never going to ever use this again.
No reason to.
They stopped production on this, I believe this year, and they stopped making games for it like a year ago.
Okay.
So why the fuck would you keep producing it till now?
I think they were keeping producing it in Japan because it's
Oh.
still sort of popular in Japan. And it's probably still popular for the reason I use it for, which I hacked this thing.
Okay.
And meaning I didn't really hack it. I downloaded programs to hack it for me.
You script hacked it.
Yeah. Which was a whole ordeal because I had this sitting here, I had not used this for 2 years. Because now I have a Nintendo Switch, so there's like no reason for this.
Yeah.
And they weren't making games for this anyways. And the memory cards are still unbelievably expensive.
Of course.
But I had bought a memory card that I never used. 32 gigs. I think it cost me like $40, and
Oh,
that was because it was on sale. Like there's a 64 gig one that's $100.
That's a lot of money for memory.
Yep. There's probably a way, like if I were into modding it like physically, there's probably a way I could just put like an SD reader in this and just
Yeah,
40-cent 2 terabyte SanDisk card. So because it was sitting around for 2 years, I can't remember the firmware. It was like version 2.63, but the hacked version is 2.6. So I was like, oh, I just missed it. But there's a way that there's a weird way you can download 2.65, and then there's like a backdoor hack to revert it back to 2.60.
Oh, okay.
So that was fucking weird. And my immediate first problem is when I download, you have to download a program to. So when you plug this into a computer, all it wants to recognize is to like, you want to put photos or music on this? It won't let you do anything else because Sony doesn't want you hacking this thing directly from your computer.
Right.
So you have to download a program to do that, and like, it didn't extract properly, so there was no executable to operate the program, and that was like an hour of me swearing.
Yeah.
And then I just used a different program to extract it, and it was there. So yeah, so then I had to update the firmware in a weird way because I couldn't do it through Sony because they're only going to give you the latest firmware. So I had to like go to a site and get that 2.65 firmware to download on here and install it, and that was all a weird thing. At any time, this could have bricked the system.
Yeah.
But I was never going to use this again.
Yeah, so you might as well like.
And then so I finally got the firmware on it, and I was able to like download some. I was able to download RetroArch on here, which RetroArch is an emulator software, so you can put a bunch of different stuff on here. So now this is a Game Boy, a Game Gear, a Super Nintendo, a Sega Genesis, a poor Nintendo 64, and a very good PlayStation.
That's funny.
I
had one of those.
And there was a... oh yeah, you had the Vita. Yeah, you did have the Vita. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, did you have the PSP? But no, you got Grace and the Vita. And there was a weird thing. I think because the weird way if you connect to a USB, it doesn't want you to transfer things. I had to use an FTP client to transfer files over the internet to the PSP from my computer, which that's weird. It's not that hard once you learn about it, but it's like, why do I have to do this? I plugged it in.
Why am I doing this extra step or two?
So yeah, now it plays all that stuff, and I am currently playing the Game Boy Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, there's
Oh, so you can when the remaster of it comes out, you can.
yeah. So no, well, I heard. So yeah, I've been playing it. It's really good. It's really impressive for a Game Boy game.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like, yeah, Game Boy, it just played Tetris, but like this is pretty much a fucking Zelda-ass Zelda game. The only downside is there's a lot of in Zelda games you get like, you know, boomerangs and hook shots and all this other shit.
Yeah.
You have to always go to a sub-screen to switch to that stuff, and you're constantly switching it.
Oh, okay. So the controls aren't perfectly realized on that.
Well, no, it's exactly the same as the Game Boy. It's just because when the Game Boy came out, it was hindered by the Game Boy's, you know, only having 2 buttons and a start and select.
Oh, okay.
But no, I heard because they're doing a remaster of Link's Awakening for the Switch. It looks pretty cool, and I had never played it before. And what was it? I had heard somebody say that it took influences from Twin Peaks. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? How was a Zelda game influenced by
Yeah, that's an interesting turn of events.
And there is like a lot of weird shit, like, because in this game there's a bunch of shit from Mario. Like there's Goombas, there's like side-scrolling levels in it. There's chain chomps, and like there's a chain chomp just like hanging outside this lady's house, and she's like, "That's my dog." There's an alligator that sells bananas, and he's like he's really into collecting canned food. You find dog food and you give it to him, and he eats the dog food and gives you bananas.
Sounds like an episode of Twin Peaks.
There's a part where you're helping this lady out, and she's like, "Can you take this letter to this guy?" And it's like you're like, "Yeah, I'll take the letter." And then she's like, "Man, sometimes when I'm writing a note, I can't help but just eat the paper. It's so delicious." I don't know if this is like mistranslation or like intentional weirdness.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to tell.
But yeah, I think, as the things go, and it's always talking about the windfish. Like if the windfish, if you wake up the windfish, then all this reality disappears. And so I think that's like why it's weird is like, and why it's called Link's Awakening is I think this is like all supposed to be a dream.
Oh, okay.
Which I guess that's why you take an influence from Twin Peaks, because Twin Peaks is very dream-like.
Dream logic.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, you can save it at any time, and then I'll just save here. But yeah, if I wanted to, I could play like Atari games on here, like some arcade games, Commodore 64 games. But I don't really have like nostalgia for that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff generally sucks. That is fun that they repurpose something that is essentially useless into something.
Well, they hacked the fuck out of the PSP, like the first one.
Uh-huh.
And it's like there was like a time where it's like, hey, the PSP is selling really well. Nobody's buying video games.
Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, this is exact reason why.
Well, I suppose you can probably get a PS Vita for pretty goddamn cheap now.
No, they are strangely still expensive. They're $270 for some of that shit. What's a Switch is $300.
That's probably you can't go to GameStop and be like, yeah, PS Vitas nobody wants.
Probably you could probably find, but see that's the weird thing. So if you want to do this shit, you're gonna want to
older one.
No, you're gonna want a new one
Oh.
because the firmware won't be updated except for what they left it from the factory.
Oh.
So if you get a used one, it might have firmware that they haven't cracked yet. Yeah, so yeah, here's a bunch of PlayStation games. And you can put these pictures in the background when it loads, and so I got some old here's the 64 emulator, which pretty much sucks, but oh well, I guess it does that.
I want a 69 emulator.
Got properly around. I was playing some Mega Man Legends because I'd never played that game before.
Oh.
It was a 3D Mega Man game they put on the PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a lot of PlayStation games don't age that well.
Yeah.
But they're surprising. Some of them are very surprisingly competent, which this Mega Man one is like very surprisingly competent. So,
Huh.
I mean, the controls are a lot of reasons why they don't age well is the controls are really weird. Because like the original PlayStation, it didn't have those two dual analog sticks. They came in 1998 with Gran Turismo and Ape Escape.
Okay.
But like that didn't like retroactively go back to all the old games. All those old games. And, like, all those old games had, like, first-person shooters and shit with a controller that didn't have an analog stick. It was just, you know, you have your D-pad and, like, you have the shoulder buttons, but it was like, man, it was really fucking weird to play games like that then.
Hey, I played my first-person shooter, Doom, on Super Nintendo. Just
Yeah.
a D-pad.
Huh. Well, that's cool. I didn't even know that was going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hackers are doing things, so. But, yeah, this is... So, like, because, like, with this, you can do the same thing with this. You can hack this so fucking easily. This was a breeze. You can hack this. All you gotta do is download a program, do the thing, because there's, like, a special, like reset mode to do, where you, like, hold the power button up for, like, a few seconds, and it goes into, like a factory setting mode, and then... And then the program, like, just jumps in, and you can... But the thing with it... So, like, they leave memory on this... so that you can like save games, and they leave just enough memory on it. You can put like another 30 games on there, so you kind of like swap games out in and out for like what you want to play with this. The good thing about this is you can hook it up to any TV.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But you know it's stationary. It has to be plugged into something. Like I get everything on the go.
Right.
And I was never gonna use this ever again. And I've been playing the fuck out of Link's Awakening.
Oh, that's cool.
But shh.
So should I not include that in our show notes?
Yeah, don't include in the show notes. Lest Nintendo come and sue me.
And why wouldn't they?
I purchased Link's Awakening.
Oh, you pre-purchased it?
It was a no.
Oh.
So usually the thing you have to do when you talk about this stuff is like, so it's completely legal to have emulators and hack this. That's all legal. I mean, I voided my warranty, but it was gone anyways. So it's completely legal to have the emulators, but like for the ROMs themselves, it's legal if you own a physical copy of it to back up your if you have a physical copy of it.
Okay.
But most people don't.
I was like, yeah, for all the...
I do own Fear Effect 2. I try to play that game. That's a hard game to play. Because it's really... I don't know. It's that tank control is like kind of Resident Evil kind of thing. So.
Oh, okay.
So it's not... And I was trying out Resident Evil 3 because the Resident Evil 2 remake came out. And so I was like, I never played 3. I think I rented it and then I didn't care for it. So.
Oh, okay.
And I got the Dino Crisis games too. So I was looking at those. It was like that was also the Resident Evil but with dinosaurs. And that was like it's strangely because that one they added like camera movement and stuff. It's not like the standard rendered backgrounds with the static camera angles.
Oh, okay.
So it was like pretty impressive for a PlayStation game.
Yeah, I played the original PlayStation. I played off and on like a little bit, but I didn't. At that time, I actually owned an Atari, so I was a couple generations behind the curve at that point. But when I did play it, I remember like Tekken and Ace Combat and Gran Turismo. Yeah, maybe Final Fantasy a little bit, and that was about it.
Yeah, that was pretty much the Final Fantasy VII system.
And I actually never saw that game in real life in person. So, yay.
Yeah, it's doesn't necessarily hold up well, but it's very fondly remembered.
Well, because there was a time when I was buying, or because Video Game Etc. that's around here, have like retro games and stuff like that for sale. They usually do anyway.
Yeah.
And so they have like Final Fantasy like 7, 8, and 9 or whatever for me being retro games.
Yeah.
At the time, so I think I bought 8 or something like that, or 9. I can't fucking remember what number now, but it wasn't 7 because they never have 7. It was always expensive, and they never had it in stock.
8's the one with the gun blades, and 9's the one that kind of looks like it has like the wizards and mages and shit.
Yeah, 9's it was 9.
Okay.
But it was okay. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't like, oh, okay, I can see why people really fucking love this game.
Well, that was also back in the day where like that game was fucking. Well, all the Final Fantasy games were like 120-hour games if you really wanted to like do all the side stories and stuff. And that was back in the day where they would make games to basically take as long as possible because you wanted to like get your money's worth.
Yeah.
So a lot of old games just have you doing a lot of just treadmill bullshit to lengthen the game.
I still regret that I didn't finish 12. Wasn't that like the bounty hunter like monster one? Because I like bought like the
that's
game.
the one where it's like it was like real time combat and you had like the
Yeah.
domes and shit. Yeah.
No, because like I even bought like the strategy guide for that fucking game. Like I fucking played the shit out of that game for the longest time, and then just like after like one bad like, oh, I didn't grind very well today, and I kind of fucking lost some shit. I just like put it down and never played it again. It's like, and then I played 13, and I like got like somewhat through the story, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I hate this goddamn story.
I think I got to the in 12. I got to the. It was like a race of basically Playboy bunnies.
Yeah.
Like it's women with bunny ears, with like bunny tails, and with giant tits and long hair and everything. Like they're literally a race of Playboy bunnies.
Oh, literally.
It's like, oh, Japan.
Still not the weirdest thing you produce. But
Oh, and you can also still play Vita games, but there's not really good Vita games. So.
yeah,
I got the one worth it. I got the Persona 4 on here.
I was gonna say is like I can't even think of a good Vita
Well,
game.
they had the Uncharted game's pretty neat. It's not as good as the other Uncharted games, but there's a lot of because this had a lot of weird shit to it. There's like so there's something in an Uncharted game you could you would like there was the part where you get a map, and if you blew on the screen, you'd like blow the dust off the map, which is kind of fun. And then like this whole back area is actually a touchpad.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so this middle area. So because this only has 2 shoulder buttons, when you're playing the PlayStation games, you can map like the R2 and R3 buttons to like these touchpads back here.
Huh.
And you can actually switch to like which one is which. So like this upper touchpad can be a button and the lower touchpad can be a button.
Oh,
But they're not very like
intuitive.
yeah. Like I have to do like a weird thing where I have to like kind of like stick out my middle finger kind of like exaggeratingly to hit it. And it's kind of weird to like be doing this while
Yeah.
doing this at the same time. Anyways, so yeah, that was I hacked my Vita.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that with that.
I mean, it was a hassle, but
Yeah, but it was fun.
yeah.
Oh, so anyway, we watched a movie this week.
1999's Boondock Saints.
Yeah. Such as a movie I watched 2000, I think.
Probably.
Like something at Blockbuster. It was like you could get it.
Yeah, it was a Blockbuster exclusive, I guess.
I think so. Yeah, I remember watching it, and
Thanks, September 11th.
yeah, I thought it was kind of cool at the time, and I rewatched it again. I watched it last week actually, and yeah, it was kind of what I thought. It's like, oh, this is something more fondly remembered than it actually is.
Yeah.
It seemed like a weird homage to Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, it's very ripping off Quentin Tarantino and also John Woo and probably a few other things there I can't think about.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of other movies, but with it kind of had its own weird energy to it, which sort of made it fun.
Yeah, it was more comical. and
Yeah.
less serious than.
Willem
Yeah, it's probably less serious than Tarantino movie, and a fantastic performance by Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe and Billy Connolly made it fun. And there's nothing wrong with Norman Reedus or the other guy, Flannery or whatever his name is. but
Sean Patrick Flannery.
they just weren't very interesting characters.
No.
They're just like, okay, this is your motivation, and you're going to do weird killings and kind of, based on one thing. It's like,
Well, they kind of like bring the energy. Like they're kind of always laughing and doing shit, and then like suddenly they're killing people.
yeah, they have a weird chant and prayer, and they're Irish dudes.
But they know like 40 different languages for
Yeah.
some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun movie.
It's a fun, cool movie, and I know it's like now it's not seen that way, but
Yeah.
it's really hard to make a cool movie. Because as someone who's like read a bunch of scripts, it's really easy to write a cool movie. It's really hard to produce a cool movie.
Yeah, and to make it last. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is mostly a cool movie. It's obviously ripping off Tarantino, but who the fuck doesn't want to rip off Quentin Tarantino?
Yeah, it's not like a bad thing to rip off.
Yeah, and I think there's one thing he does well, which I think, because one of my favorite shots of all time of all Quentin Tarantino's thing was in Reservoir Dogs, the part where he's telling the fake story, and then he's inside the story telling the fake story to the fake cops in the fake story, and the camera's spinning around, and he kind of like, I'm not sure if he takes that directly or it could have come somewhere, but like when Willem Dafoe was like telling the story, and then he's like inside the story doing finger guns and shit's blowing up.
Yeah.
Like that was really inventive, and he kind of like carried that to like some form of a logical conclusion. And I feel like Tarantino just kind of like dropped that. It's like he's not gonna do as kind of weird shit like that anymore.
Yeah, and like I said, Willem Dafoe just ran with this material for some reason. I think he had a good time,
Yeah,
which I heard a lot of people in the production of this movie did not.
yeah.
The guy who directed this movie seems to be a disagreeable sort overall.
Yeah, I did. There's a documentary about basically this movie getting made. Well, not necessarily about the movie getting made. Him selling the script.
Yeah.
Because it's called Overnight, but I haven't seen it. But yeah, I don't think it's favorable in this guy's light, because he's basically like almost like plucked out of obscurity. He's a bartender, writes a script, sells it to Miramax. He gets to direct, and his band gets to write the soundtrack.
Yeah, I know like Harvey Weinstein gave him the bar he worked at, a development deal for his band and his movie. And then he managed to alienate everyone in the process.
Even a guy that masturbates into bushes.
Yeah, well, yeah, when you know what Harvey Weinstein's like, fuck, this guy's an asshole. It's like, whoa, you've crossed some weird, Egyptian parallel that you're never coming back from.
And I wonder if the guy was, I don't know him personally, probably just a fucking asshole, but to give him the benefit of the doubt, the way Hollywood just will take things from you and drain any ideas you have from you and not give you any money for it. I bet he went into it just like, I'm not going to fucking give anything away. Like, I'm going to take everything from these people.
Yeah, well, when I did some research on this, and I was just going to do some research on the movie, which it's kind of like, yeah, it's cool, watch it. But then I heard about this whole director odyssey, and it's like, wow, this guy seems really bad. But even I was thinking, yeah, but he's dealing with Hollywood. So he might be acting crazy, but everyone else around him is probably more nuts than him. Because, yeah, that's just a rotten business. It makes things we love, but holy shit, is it a terrible group of people to have to deal with. And I've heard this consistently. Like, this isn't like, well, one guy hates him. It's like, no, everyone has something terrible to say.
I mean, the worst thing I hear, it's like the worst thing, like, to be a writer is like when people, when studio execs will have you in to, like, pitch your ideas, pitch your script. And they'll be like, holy fuck, I'm going to get to write a script. They want me to come in. And then you pitch your scripts, and all they're doing is taking your ideas and then they're having a meeting with their writer that they want to write a screenplay. It's like, hey, I have this idea.
And it's perfectly legal to do this.
Yes.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. But yeah, this seems like. And this guy's like one and done for successful movies.
Well, he did the sequel too, which
was not a successful movie.
No, it was not good.
Yeah, it was pretty
and
bad.
this really didn't become popular until Blockbuster picked it up.
Oh yeah, it was a DVD hit, but
Yeah.
yeah, nobody saw it before it went to DVD.
So yeah, an interesting, fun movie with interesting characters.
I mean, I really liked that time. I still like it now. I think some of it's diminished by there is a like cult-like. I mean, it's a cult classic in a way, but the fan base around it can be kind of annoying. I mean, yeah, people like getting like Veritas tattoos and Aquinas and shit like that, and like, yeah, we're gonna go out and stop the evil. It's like, no, it's not. This movie doesn't have a message, not really.
Yeah, these are all just motivations for the characters to do something.
I don't know. What about you, Andrew? I thought I remember you like really liked this movie.
No, I do.
Or I can't remember. Like, I'm not sure if I got this on my own or if you lent it to me or how it came about.
I mean, I only had it on VHS until.
Oh, okay. I bought it on DVD
until I met my wife. I think she had it on DVD. I don't think I.
But yeah, this is like a movie like, you know, if you this is one of these great movies where it's like if you've never heard of it, it's like, what the fuck's this movie? You don't know anybody in it except for like at the time it's like, oh, Spider-Man's friend's dad.
Yeah.
I mean, Willem Dafoe's been in everything.
Come on, he's
yeah,
not just
sure.
old and
you know, everybody saw Last Temptation of Christ.
Ruder.
There's actually a second '99 movie because Willem Dafoe was also in was it Existence?
Yeah, Existence. Yeah. Another one and done director guy.
No, it was David Cronenberg.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. What was I thinking? Oh, never mind. Anyway.
Yep, he only works on one movie at a time. One and done. No, it's an awesome movie. Like, I like pretty much all of the characters in the movie. I mean, it's, especially for a movie just filled with people, especially, I mean, yes, they're cleaning house and killing bad people, but they themselves are bad people.
Yeah.
So they're not exactly above.
But yeah, there's that part where they basically get, like, baptized by, like, the water leaking through the roof. And, like, that scene's, like, the weirdest. It's like, oh, now God has ordained that they kill people. It's like, no. But they don't take that back. They don't, like, oh, they were on drugs or something. Like, no. Like, in this universe, God told them to kill people, and they're following through on it.
I do like the toilet assassination, too.
Yeah.
Or toilet death. Kill someone by dropping a toilet on him.
Oh, yeah, there's that part, yeah, that's, you know, some good acting there, but that part where he's, like, fucking yanking on the toilet, and he's just like, ah! Like, that's good, intense acting. I mean, all you have to do is yell, but you can do it badly.
Willem Dafoe's acting about mocking the fucking detectives and shit all the time, where it's like, well, along comes this huge fucking guy and fucking just crushes the shit out of him in this fucking alley.
And Willem Dafoe, he's gay and he cross-dresses at the end, which was probably what would you call that? Progressive at the time, and now it's problematic.
Yeah, it was like
Not,
it was like, that's brave. Now it's like that's offensive.
Because it's not necessarily like a positive portrayal of a gay character.
Yeah, because I mean, it's Willem Dafoe basically being like the manliest gay guy ever.
Yeah. Where
it's like he has sex with a guy and then he's on the phone with somebody and it's like, shut the fuck up, you fairy, or whatever. Just like,
I remember that. Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, he has like some of the best lines and the best scenes in the fucking movie. It's like, there was a fire, and just like
at some point he like looks at, he's doing the platoon pose and he's just firing a gun in the air. It's like, wait, is he actually firing the gun in the air?
And it's like, yeah, but yeah, then like him cross dressing and like killing AI when he like supposedly gonna blow him or whatever in the fucking bathroom to get him in, and fucking just like I said, making fun of detectives and like being the smartest guy in the fucking room at all times. And it's like, yeah, he's fucking amazing, but at the same time, it's like, eh.
And I think for like for the few, because this is a very inexpensive movie. Like they shot it on like a third of the budget that they were supposed to get.
Right.
And for like the action scenes they have, like they're really well done. Everyone is like recognizable and slightly different. And I like how like every time you approach you come into the action scene post the action scene and then you go back into it. Like that was really like good
narrative quality to everything. Like, well, we're gonna go do this now, and then they do it, and then but they're always talking about it. Like, so okay, this is where these guys end up. How did they get here? And then they tell you. There was a lot of unique things with this movie.
Yeah.
Like the cat being blown away into a smear of blood on a wall from a gun going off on a table. And then Rocco like breaking up with his girlfriend that's like fucking brings home random people to get high with. And it was like, where's my cat? I killed your fucking cat. Sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like Reservoir Dogs meets Desperado meets I had another one thrown in there, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it seemed like a love letter to a lot of action movies from the 90s with a weird kind of storytelling mode.
Or I think it's called A Better Tomorrow, maybe? That's the John Woo. I believe that was the first John Woo movie to feature a character dual-wielding two Berettas, which they do in this movie quite often. So I'm pretty sure that was just a John Woo, like...
But was there also flying doves?
There was a lot of weird attempts at symbolism and philosophy in this movie. But it was kind of immature and weird.
Yeah.
And I almost think it was done that way on purpose. I could never figure out if this movie was taking itself seriously or not. That's one thing that baffled me on a second viewing. I was like, were they serious with this
Yeah,
shit?
because like everyone's laughing around. There's part when Rocco gets shot where it's like shit kind of gets serious.
Right.
And then it kind of gets funny again. And then you get to the end of the movie, and it's completely serious. It's like, oh, the cops are in on it. This is going to be a rampage to kill all crime in the world. It's like, what the fuck's going on here? And then you get to the second movie, and it's like, oh, this is stupid.
So what happens to the characters in the second movie?
Oh, they just go on an international killing campaign.
Oh, so it doesn't really change, like,
No.
And they get a guy that kind of looks like Rocco that's been in a bunch of other movies that plays secondary characters to play a more.
Yeah, he's a character actor. Yeah, he kind of plays Rocco, and then Rocco shows up, like as in a weird, like dream sequence. Like he's like, I'm an angel. It's like, aren't you a really, really, really bad person that they decide not to kill and like help kill you? It's like, well, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be an angel. They basically hallucinate and like have a fun time with him for no reason, and then he just disappears. And it's like, did that happen or not?
I guess I don't remember that part of the movie. I remember like the inexplicable like action scene of like them getting ready for like the final confrontation where they're all shirtless and buff with like water dripping on them for some reason. And it's like, what the fuck is this about? Like,
that's another baptism.
Oh, I guess I didn't think about it that way because it had been a while since I'd seen the first one at that point. But I remember the build up, the hype for the number 2 was pretty big compared after the first one. And
oh yeah, it's like, oh, we got money to make this movie, and it's like, oh, everyone's coming back.
How can we fuck this up? Hold my beer.
And it's not like it's an unwatchable movie. It's just not as it's not as clever as the original.
Yeah, it didn't have very good jokes. The action was not. I mean, it was fine. I just don't honestly think that movie needed a sequel.
No.
Like, where the fuck are you gonna go with the movie after the first one? Because really, there's nothing to be said after that.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing with the first one was I still don't know if it was taking itself seriously or not.
I don't think their father's even in the second one, is he?
I think he is, but I think he like dies in like the first action scene or something. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm not obviously gonna go back and watch the second one. It's really inferior.
I remember they had the the wife in Dexter. She was like the new Willem Dafoe character essentially, but it's not like she did a bad job. She's just not Willem Dafoe.
Is she a really manly lesbian?
Yeah, they weren't going to bring him back for a sequel.
He makes an appearance, but that's all it. It's like a guest spot. He's not in the rest of the movie. I think so. Because I remember there's something where like he shows up and he's like holding an umbrella and then he turns around and it's like, hey, and they all hug or whatever.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Just watch it. Don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Or do.
Get your Veritas tattoo. start being an avenging angel and vigilante.
Yeah, start doing Latin prayers and all kinds of stuff. Well, that's all I have for Boondock Saints.
And also, like, I wonder if that was a thing. The title itself seems very like, hey, let's take the title Reservoir Dogs and just kind of switch some words around.
Yeah, like I said, this movie, it seemed like this guy really liked Quentin Tarantino movies.
Like I said, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to make Quentin Tarantino movies?
When's his next one coming out?
Tarantino?
Oh yeah, it's. I think it's soon because they're filming it. It's like that '70s movie or whatever.
Yeah, it's the one about the Manson family.
Yeah, what the fuck is it called? It's like Wonderland in America or some shit. I can't remember.
The real '70s show.
Hey. Huh?
I said, yeah, it's going to be a hippie movie, but like with hippies from hell.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the title: Hippies from Hell.
And they only kind of like similar. It didn't come out in '99, but I remember there was a movie that kind of had a similar kind of tone to it, and it was cool because like it came out of nowhere. Like it never got released anywhere. It was pretty much just a DVD movie. And you showed it to me. It was that movie, Employee of the Month.
Yeah.
That's a pretty kind of has a similar tone to it. And Timothy Zahn and who the fuck else is in it? Can't remember the guy that they're like brothers and.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember this.
It's the other Dylan, right? Or is it Matt Dillon?
Yeah, Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon, yeah.
Because I was thinking Matthew, and I'm like, what the fuck's his last name?
So there's like 4 movies called Employee of the Month, but this one he's like, was he have a paper bag on his head on the cover?
It's like a brown wood background, and you just like,
because there's a Dane Cook Employee of the Month movie, and you avoid that. But also, I believe the way I remember Employee of the Month is like it was cool seeing it the first time around. It probably doesn't seem as cool the second time.
I haven't seen it since then, so I'm sure it probably doesn't hold up.
But I think with Boondock Saints, there are reasons to go in and watch it again to kind of like look at things from different angles. It's not just like one and done. There are reasons to go back into it. Just the more you go into it, like there's like the meaning you associate. It's like, oh, it's the way I write scripts. It's like a 12-inch ruler, all edge, no depth.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like there was some cool visual stuff here. There was some cool story stuff here, but it's like how far could you go with this? And they went as far as they could with it.
And I don't believe was his name Troy Duffy. I don't think he made any other movies after the second Boondocks.
He's on the ban list, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, but you can still make independent movies and shit. Because who ended up releasing this? Was it like Fox Searchlight ended up releasing this or something? Because it wasn't Miramax.
Franchise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who they like bankrupt themselves, or they almost ruin themselves with really bad action movies. Because this wasn't. I think this showed on 5 screens theatrically initially, and then it got its second wind on DVD, of course.
Apparently, he did a short called Knight Rider 2016.
Cool.
In 2015, he was attached to some TV series called Luminous.
Is that like the game?
Don't believe so.
Probably not.
So yeah, that's pretty much the
I like how it was a rating, even though it's not a real thing. Didn't actually get made. 2.9 stars.
Creator, stars, no content. $600,000 budget.
Give me the money.
See, I need to look up for that overnight documentary. That'll probably be interesting to watch.
Yeah. Oh, what movie? Are there any movies coming out? Because we're getting into. We're in spring now, so the summer movies will be out pretty soon.
Well, I know I'll go see Shazam in a couple weeks.
Oh, does that come out in a couple? Okay.
Yeah, April 5th is when it comes out.
That should be fun, but you know, it's
well, the new trailer spoiled yet another part of the movie where I think people would have laughed, except now they're going to see it a million times, so they probably won't laugh.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Warner Brother, or I guess DC, has been kind of hit or mostly miss with their stuff. It's like, if we made Wonder Woman good, and that's it.
Aquaman was pretty good.
I haven't seen Aquaman yet.
I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but I'd say it's a good, entertaining.
Is it a fun movie? Okay, that's all I expected. It's like from the director of the Fast and Furious, from the Fast and Furious movies you like. This guy probably made a fun movie.
And yeah, I mean, there's no like slow drag down sequences in that movie. Its pacing's pretty even. It has interesting things to do.
From watching wrestling, I've seen commercials for this movie I knew nothing about until then.
Rock and Nick Frost and stuff.
No, I know about Fighting with My Family. I wanted to see that, but I just don't want to go to the movie theater.
Oh.
No, it's Captive State.
Oh, okay. You didn't know about that?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess
I didn't hear about it until I saw the commercials on wrestling. And I'm like, what the fuck is this movie?
Oh, it was like I saw the first trailer like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Like it looks really interesting. It looks like something I'd like to see, but it depends on, I guess.
It was like from the director of Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's like, oh, this could be good. And then I remember like, wait, the good ones were Dawn and War. The first one is okay. But it's not as good as the second two. This guy directed the first one.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, it came out this weekend. I don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is saying about it, but I'm like, every time I watch those commercials, like, this looks like a good idea. There's no way it can be. Oh, it's got 46 on Rotten Tomatoes, so yeah.
Well, never mind.
Yeah, never mind.
Well, it was something where it's like the trailer looks really awesome, but maybe the execution's just not there, or the story's kind of shit.
Yeah, it has some, like, good imagery. There's, like, part where it looks like robots with, like, fucking, like, lasers on their backs just, like, pointed away. It's like, what the fuck happened here? Like, there's things that look interesting, but I guess it doesn't pull it off.
Well, I always go by the tilted over or standing popcorn bucket more than I go by the actual Rotten Tomatoes score, because I find audiences seem to gauge whether or not at least the movie's watchable and entertaining.
Well, yeah, I'll go in and see what critics are saying, but if it's just like, if it's like 40%, like, more often or not, it's like, yeah, this probably sucks.
Yeah, 65 to 70%. I'll go 65% if I'm interested in the subject matter, but if it's much below that, then I'm not interested.
Well, there's just one movie that came out like in the last month on DVD that I didn't hear of until like the week it came out, and it's called Assassination Nation. And like the imagery and the trailer look kind of cool, like the little snippets I saw, but I didn't see the full trailer. And then I was like, oh, let me watch the trailer on Xbox Marketplace before I rented it. And it was just like a bunch of teens like rebelling on like Instagram and Facebook and like fucking going around like, I don't fucking care about any of this shit. Like, it's got 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna understand this movie. It's not for me, so no, we're good.
Yeah, this isn't for elderly people.
No, it's not for anybody that is past the age of 20.
Well, you got Us. Hopefully that's good. The Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah.
I
heard the pre-reviews on that say it's amazing. Like, it might even be better than
Get Out.
But you always hear weird hype like that too.
I like how they took that like kind of like R&B song about getting weed and like turned it to like this horror. This is like horror background music. I got 5 on just like violin twangs and shit. It's like that's
Well, Dumbo looks like it actually might be Disney's best live action remake so far, just based upon the cast they've assembled and how it looks like they've actually shot that movie, but I don't know.
I have no interest in Pet Sematary, but I'm sure people will like that movie.
I'm mixed about that. Like, I want it to be good, but at the same time, not really, because then just everything Stephen King will get remade again.
I'm worried about Hellboy. I like David Harbour, but
The second trailer made it look even better.
I didn't like the first trailer. The second trailer, yeah, made it look better, but I just still don't know.
Oh. I was gonna say, it's like I mean, I can't say I'm thrilled about them remaking Hellboy, but I thought it looked good.
But I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them like continuing it, but
I'd rather have Ron Perlman in the fucking lead.
yeah, I
role,
mean, you just throw makeup on him. That dude can be 80, and you can make him Hellboy.
he's just gonna be just walking around a lot, though.
And you just have his stunt double do everything. Like, who gives a shit?
Did he not want to do it, or
No, Ron Perlman tried to get that fucking movie off the ground for a long time. He tried to get people.
I think it just bounced around producers, and whatever producer it ended up with wanted to do their own thing.
Like Ron Perlman, like there was a video or interview from a podcast that got posted on YouTube like 6 months back, where they literally asked him because he was a guest and he was promoting something else. I can't remember what it was. But it was just like they point blank asked him, it's like, so how come Hellboy 3 didn't get made? And he was like, man, that I was like, I'm gonna get fucking pissed. That's a touchy subject because like I tried to get Guillermo del Toro to do it. He kept telling me we're gonna do it, and they never did. And it's like I wanted to play Hellboy. I was ready to get back in that goddamn chair and be Hellboy again because I fucking love that movie. I love that franchise. And then it was like it never happened and it broke my heart or whatever. And it's like. Yeah, I believe him. He was fucking good Hellboy. I fucking love Ron Perlman. He's for a guy that doesn't... I mean, he's not a fucking good-looking guy. He's not, like, a great actor either, where he's gonna get all these, like, fucking roles everywhere. But goddamn, every movie he's in, like, he fucking is a good scene stealer, and he's fucking good in every movie. So,
I
it's...
like Ron Perlman's continuous appearance on the Marin show.
Oh, really?
He was the guy in the bookstore, remember him?
Is that in the last season?
Yeah, the last
Okay,
season.
yeah. He's like a Vietnam vet or something, right? Yeah.
Like, he got Ron Perlman? And not but for like a few different parts of the season?
We got John Wick 3 in May.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
You want a third one? I haven't even seen the second one yet.
Oh, go see it. You can see your gun.
Yeah, that's true.
He uses it. They give him one clip, and it's like in a nice velvet case, and he's like, the Kimber 45 Eclipse or whatever one year. It's in there. Yeah, you got Brightburn in May too. Okay. Godzilla movie, which I don't know.
Fuck no.
I really liked the last one, and everyone hated it.
I like the last one. The trailer for this one looks like shit. I don't understand it. It's just fucking weird.
Dark Phoenix, I'm saying it looks terrible, but who knows?
The last trailer made it look more appealing, but it's still probably gonna be a pile of shit.
That's the one where Sasha Grey goes crazy, or Jean Grey, or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, Sasha Grey?
Yeah,
There's Secret Life of Pets 2. How come we're not talking about that movie?
Wait, Sasha... Yeah, I remember Sasha Grey as a porn star.
I was like, well,
the real Dark Phoenix.
The dark uterus.
And then there's the new MIB movie, which I hope will be good because I fucking hate the original Men in Black movies, and I hope they do something better with it. But I
Did you not like the first one?
I fucking hate all of them. They're all suck.
I hate the second one with a passion, but I think the third one's all right because it's not the second one. But I really like the first one.
I mean, the first one's just too dated anymore. The third one is probably the one I like the most, just because it seems different enough to work. But I just
and then you have like a Shaft reboot with all the cast of the other reboot and the cast of the original, or at least the surviving, or
Richard Roundtree's in it.
And it's a comedy. So that's fucking
makes no sense,
yeah.
and it'll probably suck.
Child's Play, that'll probably be a horror movie that people will like. I really don't go watch to the movie theaters to watch horror movies.
I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming looks interesting, but to me, I think it's not going to be as good as the last one, so I don't know. It depends on how Jared Leto does as Mysterio, because it looks like...
No, it's, what's his name? The brother and sister. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, yeah, not Jared Leto, fucking hell.
Oh,
No.
yeah, here's a Quentin Tarantino movie. July 26th. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Cool.
That's when it's coming out.
But it almost looks like from the trailers of Spider-Man: Homecoming that it's like literally like maybe Sandman, maybe Mysterio, and maybe somebody else. Like almost like it's the Sinister Six, but in Europe. I can't fucking tell at this point because it's like Michael Keaton's Vulture was a good fucking villain in the last movie, and that movie was pretty much all around solid as a Spider-Man movie, and so I'm kind of thinking it's gonna take a dip because it's like it can't be as good not in New York for one, so that's gonna be jarring, and then also like
but it also could be helpful because it's different.
Yeah, I know, but it's just something where it's
because
like
every Spider-Man movie's been in New York, and there's been 6 of them.
True.
100.
But at the same time, I'm trying to figure out if it's just a gimmick with the whole class trip, and that's supposed to be another angle of stress for him, like keeping everything secret the whole time, since it's obvious. Like, well, I wonder why Spider-Man's in fucking Europe for no reason. Everywhere we go, he's always here.
Well, also, I guess, is there any other superheroes in Europe that would also be in there?
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or just in the Marvel Universe? In the Cinematic Universe, I would say no.
Okay.
Like, literally, Thor and Doctor Strange probably showed up there, but that's pretty much about it.
So you think you just have more, do you think Robert Downey Jr. is going to, or is he been in the trailers? Like, is he doing his father figure stuff? Or is he is he in space at this point?
I think I don't know. That's...
Well, no, because those are...
I don't think this is before
the events
Endgame.
of Entity. It looks like either this is after everything, or this is before Infinity War.
I would say this is after everything, because to me it wouldn't make sense for them timeline wise to be like, oh, this comes out after Captain Marvel, that comes out after.
I don't know. They kind of did that with Ant-Man and the Wasp, because that came out after Infinity War, right? But it takes place before.
No, it came out. Wait, shit. I can't remember. It might have come out after Infinity War. Yeah, I guess technically it worked fine, but at the same, I don't want to keep fucking flip-flopping back and forth. And it's like I know technically it being placed after Endgame is a big fucking spoiler. Like, oh yeah, we at least get Spider-Man back or whatever, or at least half the world's population. It's like also,
or maybe that's why they've cut the trailers the way they are, so you're like, well, wait, what happened? So they make you watch Endgame.
Well, it would be almost like having the... Oh, fuck. Because I remember the goddamn first 2 Star Wars movies titles. What's the fucking third one called?
Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah.
Oh, or you mean Return of the Jedi?
The original 3. New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and...
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Well, I guess it wasn't as... the title wasn't as spoilery, but I would just say it'd be like the third original Star Wars movie ending with the Death Star destroying Endor instead of the Rebellion winning again. It'd almost be like that if like, okay, we're just gonna get together. Oh no, we lost again. Sorry. We're done.
I had some conversation. This has nothing to do with anything. I just remember a conversation. I was hoping I would just bring up the podcast, see if it would naturally spark a conversation. Because we were talking about the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. Because there's a clip on YouTube about how it's horribly edited.
Okay.
And then, but it won the Oscar for Best Editing. And, because apparently, the surviving members of Queen required that everyone get equal screen time, Freddie Mercury has to have the same screen time as everybody else in the band.
Oh, is that why they horn those guys in all the time? That all about? Well, that was all about.
So you've seen the movie?
Yeah, me and my wife watched it last weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So does that make more or less sense now?
Yes, it does. Well, it's just like when everyone thinks Queen, they think their lead guy, Freddie Mercury. He was the outrageous vocal genius behind that band. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and every time I hear anecdotes about Queen, it's always about how the rest of the band couldn't live up to Freddie Mercury's talent.
Right. Two things I know about Queen the band. Freddie Mercury was the front man, and one of the guys went back to college and got a PhD in astrophysics. Actually, I think the guitar player in Queen is an actual astrophysicist, because that's what he was studying before the band took off.
I couldn't tell you his name, but I just... And that's the thing. Me and Colin said this, or at least I said the same thing, where it's like, yeah, I can tell you one thing about Queen. Freddie Mercury was their front man. That's the only goddamn thing I know.
But then I was trying to think, because like, did Queen have any hit after Freddie Mercury died? They do anything of significance?
They've done albums, and I know they're kind of, after Freddie Mercury died, Queen's one of those prog rock bands that became very Eurocentric, like super popular in Europe. I mean, not as popular, but they were still around and touring and making money as a band and as a musical group, but mainly in Europe. Like, when Freddie Mercury was the lead guy, they had a lot of transatlantic, they're really popular here, really popular there. After he died, they kind of just went back to their European roots.
Because I was trying to think about like the Black Sabbath movie, like what happens when Ozzy leaves. Because the thing about like Black Sabbath is like, Ozzy went off into have like a better, more successful career, but Black Sabbath was still a good band with Ronnie Dio and everything.
Oh yeah,
and
well, again, they went kind of the same route where they became like a European metal, like they're hugely popular on that scene over there. You got to shoot up a big bright flare to get our attention over here. Got to be like a Freddie Mercury or something like that. But yeah, I mean, you can live in. There's bands that live in Europe that are American that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Well, I remember years ago too, when American Idol was still on. Like Adam Lambert won the show one year, and like shortly after that, they announced he was going to tour and be the lead singer of Queen for a year or whatever. And it's like, Queen's still around. Like,
guys are in their 70s banging it out.
And then the other one I was thinking about was, and then like I have because I have a lot of hatred for 80s metal. Unless you're Metallica or Guns N' Roses, I hate all 80s metal.
Yeah.
Well, Motley Crue gets a pass because that's music just created to make you drink. Like, I can accept that.
That's strip club music.
Yeah. But honestly, I don't hate them. I just like never really gave them a chance, and I always heard like how great they are. Is Van Halen? I've never sit down and just listened to Van Halen. Do you have any like nostalgia for Van Halen?
David Lee Roth era, yes.
Okay.
Sammy.
No.
So Sammy Hagar doesn't do it for you?
Doesn't do it for me. It's changed too much.
Well, because I know it's a divisive topic when people talk about Van Halen, because some people love...
Well, I always thought like the through line is like the genius of Eddie Van Halen, and like even it didn't matter who the front man was, but I don't...
Musically, yes, that is probably, I would accept that through line, but just as enjoying the music, I always liked David Lee Roth better, because it was like they were a crazy rock band.
Yeah.
With him as the front guy, and then after him, they were just a very talented bunch of singers who are addicted to heroin. But yeah, that's.
And then David Lee Roth also went on to obscurity. It's like he left the band, and they all went downhill.
Yes, he launched into obscurity. Had a weird talk show he did on XM for a while, and then took over for. Who did he take over for? Did he take over for Howard Stern when Howard Stern left terrestrial radio?
Maybe.
Yeah, it was like lasted about 6 weeks, and that's a wrap. I could be misremembering that. But yeah.
And then that was like all the band splits I could think of. Oh, other than Joy Division. I mean, the singer died, and then they made New Era. Was it New Era?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like kind of a good, Joy Division is great. Sentiment, or not sentimental, but like, what do we call that? Landmark albums. Their first those two albums, Landmark, and then like the guy dies, like, well, fuck, and then they go on to do like something not necessarily as landmark or as successful, but good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Genesis, when Peter Gabriel left.
Oh yeah.
There's a transformation of a band. It's like went from this weird, funky alt, prog rock band under Gabriel to the Oh, who's the guy? The world's best husband.
Yeah,
Can't
that
think of his name.
the drummer. Well, the lead singer and drummer guy. That guy.
Yeah,
The In the Air of the Night guy.
it's the most Phil Collins.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's it.
That's what I was gonna say, but I'm like drummer. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a drummer.
I guess for some reason in my head he wasn't a drummer.
I don't think he drummed in Genesis. Well, he occasionally drummed in Genesis, but he could drum and sing, which sounds like I'll give him props for that because that sounds fucking impossible.
Well, that's what the
Dave
lead
Grohl.
singer from Death from
Oh.
above 1979. He's a drummer and singer.
Really? Huh. I have to watch that.
Yeah, but there was a Genesis. There was old Genesis with Peter Gabriel, and it's weird, but it's cool because you're like, oh, this is fucking Genesis. Then there was a Genesis where there was only the three of them before, because I think the album's called Then There Were Three.
I guess yeah. What the Police and Sting? That was a split
Yeah.
because Police was pretty big, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Again, that's
Like yeah, Beatles as well, but
yeah.
Yeah, fuck the Beatles. Fucking hate the Beatles.
Oh, the Beatles are good.
No, they're not. Like,
it's
Not-
simplistic, but it's very well done simplicity.
I didn't. I mean, I'm
well-
not saying they're bad musicians. Sorry, I'm just saying I don't like them at all. I don't care to listen to them.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like upbeat, like catchy music. Or it's
It's
pop.
like-
It's pop music.
It's like obviously they changed the landscape of music and made progress things.
Well, I think
further
like
and
a lot of
popular
stuff you've
shit.
like kind of incidentally heard, as well as the early stuff where it's a lot of pop music. I think if you like listen to like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart, you might appreciate it more.
Yeah. Go into some White Album. What you do is listen to Hard Day's Night and then jump right into the White Album. You're like, what the fuck happened?
Oh, drugs happen.
Oh, this is what it does. Oh, okay. This is what they're talking about.
But yeah, I didn't really.
I don't need to do that. I can just look at Paul McCartney's life now. And, like,
But yeah, I think like I thought the Beatles were annoying growing up, just because it was just out there
oh.
and it didn't mean anything to me. It's like, yay, stop. But when I played the Rock Band Beatles game, that
Oh.
really gave me an appreciation for the Beatles that I'd never had before.
Well, there's like one song that, like, it's a Paul McCartney song, like solo after like the Beatles broke up, that I appreciated when I heard it or whatever, and like, oh, I didn't know that was Paul McCartney. But like other than that, like I've never heard a Beatles song where I was like, oh, I want to hear more. It's
Yeah,
always-
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
other-
I mean, a lot of their stuff was designed. Let's put 12 #1 hits on a record. Like, let's not have like a logical through line or tell a story. Let's just make 12 hits and put it on a fucking record. Whereas like with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts, it's telling a story. It goes through ebbs and flows. It like has a structure to it.
Yeah.
which I can appreciate. I mean, Queens of the Stone Age's like second or third album did exactly that, where it kind of has like a, not necessarily a story, but it all flows together, and you can kind of see it as a set piece.
Yeah, I consider the Beatles like three different bands, really, because there was a beginning and a middle and an end, and it's oh yeah, this is wild for being the same guys. This is all wildly different.
You know, that's good and bad, because Jesus Christ, there's been
Also,
some-
at some point, there's a switch where they, because all their original albums were mono, because everything was just recorded in mono back
Oh.
then. And
Oh.
at some point, I think their last album might have been recorded in stereo, because they have adapted them to be in stereo, but like some audiophiles out there are like, no, you need to listen to it in the original mono.
Get a record, get one speaker, vacuum tube driven. Go out and get a Macintosh. You spend $10,000 for a turntable, and it's like, wow, I'm back in the '60s. Never wanted to be here, but okay. Sounds terrible. Does anyone have ice in a car I don't have to choke to start? Here we are. Turn on your black and white TVs.
It's Nixon time.
It's Nixon time. Speaking of which, Tricky Dick, CNN documentary coming out tomorrow on Nixon.
Huh. I
Get
did
your
not
Nixon
know.
fix. It could be good or bad. I don't know. Or it's CNN, so they're probably gonna like have just a picture of Trump in the background. His brother in the fucking 1984 film. It's like, okay, I get what you're trying to do here. I understand. But yeah, see, that's the thing is Dick Nixon was tricky. That's why they called him Tricky Dick. Trump's like a bull in a china shop. It's like there's nothing subtle about him.
Well, I think that's what the Republicans learned. It's like, no, we want Nixon because he's a hard-working guy and he's going to get shit done. But we don't want him to be the statue at the front of the company. It's
No.
like, we want get Nixon as a behind-the-scenes guy.
Nixon would have been the greatest body guy in politics. Yeah, you didn't want him up front. New Chernobyl series coming out on HBO, I think.
Is it about the dogs of Chernobyl or
No,
something?
it's like a mini series, right?
The mini series starring, I think it's the entire Skarsgård family and other people. But it actually starts.
Oh, it's in the doc. It's a series.
It's a mini based around what happened.
Okay.
And it comes out on the day Chernobyl actually blew up. So it's in April, I think. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, and I'm taking time off for the weekend of Too Much Wrestling.
Oh.
Because
when are you going somewhere to see an event?
no, I'm just staying at home.
Oh, okay.
It's just there's gonna be about 18 hours of wrestling to watch.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Because on Friday there'll be the NXT Takeover Brooklyn show.
Okay.
You're talking about this Friday, right? Or this
No, this is April 6th. Well, April 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Oh, okay.
So it'll probably be a 3-hour show because usually they don't make the Takeover shows too crazy long. They only here's 4 matches and that's all we're gonna do.
Okay.
Then on Saturday at Madison Square Garden, which is kind of considered WWE's home base.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Although for now they don't do live shows there because of the Madison Square Garden network or whatever.
Okay.
So there's a conflict there because I think if it's something performed at Madison Square Garden, they want it on their network.
Oh, okay.
But they do untelevised shows there. They still do have dark shows there. So Ring of Honor, together with New Japan Pro Wrestling, are putting on Super Card of Honor on Saturday. Which that should probably be good. I don't know. And then Sunday, we have WrestleMania 35.
Where's that out of?
That is also in New York. Well, actually New Jersey. That whatever the stadium is.
Okay.
That the Giants use or whatever. I think it is. And that will probably be an 8-hour show.
Wow.
Or if anybody in that New York area is going to the event on Saturday and then also tickets for the other one on Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's the crazy thing about the WrestleMania weekend is people will flock, independent wrestlers, they'll put on events all over the place because wrestling fans are in town and they got money because a shitty seat at WrestleMania is $1,200.
A folding chair never costs so much.
I think Dan spends $3,000 every year to go from Giant Bomb to go to WrestleMania. He gets a whole package. It's like a hotel, the NXT Takeover, and he gets a folding chair.
I can't say I didn't enjoy my time there for what money we spent between the two of us, going there and traveling and shit.
Yeah,
but I can't say I would do it that often to spend that much money a year on.
Nope.
It.
I mean, I don't know when NXT's coming back to Chicago. I think on Wikipedia it says in November they're going to do a show there. So, but they don't have ticket sales up yet. So,
I'll have to see. So far, it's been rough in the financial household for me. So
yeah.
Why? What's going on? Internet.
Well, my crippling sneefing up the ass is. No.
But no, we do it the same time. I'd get the tickets, and then you guys just pay for gas and stuff.
Oh yeah.
if that would be a
Well, it's
common-
also a time off. Is it on a Saturday? I
it's
would
al-
assume?
it's
Okay.
usually always on a Saturday.
Okay, yeah, then that wouldn't be an issue. If it was on like a Friday, I probably wouldn't be able to get it off.
No, see, the reason they put it on a Friday this year in April is
Oh.
because of the New Japan Ring of Honor show.
Oh, okay.
Because they didn't want it to compete with each other.
Yeah, that's probably smart. Because who wants to go? I mean, not that I consider NXT amateur. I mean, they kind of are, but not really.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, you can't really compete with like, oh yeah, okay, New Japan Wrestling, and then fuck, I never remember the fucking other one.
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Because I know they're very popular, especially.
Well, this is the biggest show they've ever put on.
Oh really?
Yeah, they've never this is kind of like this is after All In. It was like maybe we can sell out Madison Square Garden, and they sold it out. They've never been in a venue this big before.
Oh.
I mean, New Japan does the Tokyo Dome, which is a huge venue,
Yeah.
but Japan's different.
Yeah.
So
Not hard to get asses and seats in Japan.
well, like yeah, their wrestling is more of like it's like it's okay for adults and children to enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
Whereas here it's mostly for children.
Yeah.
Or children masquerading as adults. No, what was I gonna say? No, I trying to figure out, does NXT ever come to like Milwaukee or Madison or St. Louis?
Not the takeovers. They do have
Oh.
like house shows that go around,
Oh, okay.
but it's not the same because they only do 5 takeovers a year, and there's usually
Oh.
guaranteed to be one in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
So there's usually one in Chicago, one in New York.
Sorry, I forgot it was
One in
actually a
LA.
takeover. I forgot it was it just a. I
Yeah,
forgot
we
it
went to a
was just
takeover. We didn't go to a regular show. That's why it was 3 hours long. Actually, it was like 4 hours. Well, yeah, because they had some.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But no, the only reason to bring that up is I wanted to make one of you guys watch at least one. Well, I was gonna maybe like let you watch NXT because you have some skin in the game there. You know some of the people in it.
Yeah.
And then Nathan, I'd make you watch the Ring of Honor New Japan thing, and then be completely baffled.
Okay, let me get my notes out.
It's like from where your mic cut out. It's like, let me get my nuts out.
Let me pull my testicles out.
And then I wasn't gonna make any of you watch WrestleMania because I wasn't gonna make you spend 8 hours watching wrestling.
Well, I mean, you've talked a little bit about it while we were at NXT and kind of explaining how NXT is the better show format right now.
Yeah.
Especially to my wife, since she doesn't know a lot about this. And I mean, not that I'm extremely knowledgeable. I've boned up on it a little bit more since then and before that. But at the same time, it's like, I just don't like any of the characters that I've seen so far in WrestleMania. I haven't seen anybody that, like, makes me... Because I love Ricochet. Like,
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream's interesting, and it's kind of... But there's also other characters for NXT where it's like, oh, okay, I really hate those fucking people. There's no genuine emotion, even hate that I have for anybody in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess Ronda Rousey might be entertaining. Like,
Yeah, she is.
I've seen
She's
some
really
of her
good in the
stuff.
ring. She kind of sucks as like on the mic, but she's really good in the ring.
She legitimately seems like she could just like kick anybody's ass.
Yeah.
That,
Yes.
Like, is actually a wrestler.
Yes.
So
She is the most dangerous person on the.
even though it kind of sucks because I know towards the end of her UFC career, like, people are giving her shit for getting her ass kicked so many times or going down hard or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, well, she lost 2 fights in a row, and that was the end of her career.
But at the same time, it's like, I think she'll make more money doing this, and probably her career will last longer than if she stayed with UFC.
Well, actually, she's probably going to leave after WrestleMania.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she wants. So she has some weird things about thinking like her genetics are superior to everyone, so she wants to go have a bunch of kids.
Oh, okay.
She has a lot of strange views about her.
I guess I don't really know a lot of her personal life. I assume she was probably married or in a relationship.
She's
but I
also
don't know.
she's married. She's also Sandy Hook truther.
What?
Well, at least on Twitter, I don't know if she ever apologized for that.
Christ. Okay.
Well,
There-
somebody,
But she's really good in the ring.
That's kind of like the secondary thing no one cares about compared to like Sandy Hook truther. And
Well, I'm not sure how far she goes into it. There was a tweet of her saying something like, "I'm not going to just trust the government. I'm going to look up my own news sources. Don't be an idiot." It's like, oh, Okay, you think the
Well,
government
if
perpetrated
it's a general news source, then maybe not too bad. But if it's, I don't see why anybody would have any reason to lie about kids being massacred in elementary school. That just seems like a total fucking bullshit explanation to that.
Oh, I did a whole. I don't know if you were here. I did a whole segment on this podcast on Sandy Hook Truth. I wasted like 20 hours of my life reading and watching shit. I was just, not that I didn't think Sandy Hook was real. I was like, why do so many people think this? There must be a reason. There must be a genesis to this. And I found out, oh no, these people are just fucking crazy or stupid. But yeah.
Well, no, I figured, if this many people believe it and, like, it's so high profile-ish enough that, like, actual mainstream celebrities people quote and listen to will believe it or go along with it in some way. There's gotta be, like, one, like, huge, like, maybe, like, oh, okay, this is really fucking weird. To, like, have somebody at least pick up on it and just keep digging on it.
Oh, there's weird shit about it. Why he went, why he was able to go around to the 3 surrounding states continuously, being able to file and be rejected for purchasing guns because he came up as a crazy in their databases, and why he wasn't charged with that, or nobody came and talked to his mom like, hey, he's been driving around the 3 surrounding states trying to buy guns and he keeps getting kicked out of the system. What do you think's going on with him? I mean, there's a lot of things about him in particular and his family and stuff where it's like, oh, so this should have been a giant red flag, like, because the news almost makes it sound like he just came out of the blue and nobody knew, and it's like, no, he was crazy and he was known as a crazy for a long time.
So what about that one guy, like, a month ago that, like, shot up his place he worked at for, like, so many years and was getting fired that day and, like, killed everybody in the firing
the guy in
room?
Aurora?
Yeah, it's like he fucking had a gun for, like, 6 or 7 fucking years that he wasn't supposed to have. The police knew about it and they never did anything about it.
Oh yeah, because Illinois has that whole FOID card system. Yeah, I don't know why that. Again, we have all these rules on the books and no one enforces them. They might as well just hand out guns to homeless people. I mean, what the fuck?
So I could either beg for money or I could steal it. Which one?
That was having a loud argument with himself completely in an alley. Get that man a Glock.
Yeah,
So he
I
can
thought
shoot that
another idea. I'm not sure how far it would go, but like explaining our own purchasings of guns and the process of it.
Oh, yeah, we could do that at some point or now.
Because it was wildly not as complicated as I thought it would be.
Oh no, it's just a piece of paper.
Because the propaganda from NRA makes it things like, oh, you're gonna get a background check and all this stuff. It's gonna have to wait 1 month.
No.
And like,
No.
So I went to in the state of Iowa. There's 2 ways to go about it. You can either get a what is it called? It's like a firearm purchase license. Is that FFL or is that what the gun shop
state thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have like a firearms owner card or something like that.
Yeah, so to purchase, there's that way. It's like, so for every gun purchase, you have to have this piece of paper that says like you're purchasing, unless you have a concealed carry permit.
Right.
So I went in. I had a DD-214 from my from the military, which counts for like me getting like because you have to like prove some sort of like I've handled a weapon before and I have training in it.
Oh, it's a competency certificate, yeah.
So I handed them my DD-214. They took a picture of me, and then a week later they mailed me my concealed carry permit. I bought my gun online. It went to the shop. I went to pick it up, showed my concealed carry permit, and I was on my way.
Yeah.
No, I mean, even before that, it was actually stricter because it used to be when they first brought concealed carry back like 7-8 years ago now. It was you actually had to do a marksmanship test and pass.
Huh.
And then also sit down for like a weekend full of classes on gun safety and proper usage. And now it's just literally a half-hour video, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Just sign, I won't kill anybody, basically, and fucking here's a half-hour video. And so, there's no competency anymore. It's like, when do I use my gun? I don't know, what the fuck ever you want to. Like, we're not going to police this
You've
shit.
purchased guns in 2 different states? Or how many states have you purchased guns in, Nathan?
Indiana and Iowa, or Indiana and Michigan.
Okay.
And Michigan, when I first moved here in '98, they had gun laws like Massachusetts, where it basically said you don't really need to have guns here, and we're not going to support it. And so they had no CC or no concealed carry here. If you wanted to carry a gun in your car to the firing range, which was the only valid reason to have a gun in your car, you had to have it locked up in your trunk, and you had to have the ammunition locked up separately in another container. And yeah, there was no provision for carrying a handgun here. Hunting rifles and things like that, they were pretty loosey-goosey on. There's a lot of hunters here. They didn't care about long rifles. It's handguns they really hated here. And then in 2002, a few things happened. We got a new governor, and she was a Democrat, where oddly enough, Granholm, and they wanted to cut the police budget substantially in Michigan, because it used to be there was a cop on every corner here. And so then they said, well, we're going to make some cuts to that. We're rolling back the state police. No, by the way, CCW is coming back. Like, duh. It was kind of like a payoff to people. Like, well, we're not going to have as many cops around, but you can carry your own guns. And I was one of the early adopters of the Michigan CCW program, which was a $700 class that involved 5 hours of range time. And you had to pass with competency in short and intermediate range pistol shooting, rapid fire, and shooting from stress for prone positions and all kinds of stuff. And then you had 20 hours of class time. This was broke up over a month of weekends, and then you go get your picture taken, and they take all your fingerprints, and then 6 to 8 weeks later, you get a card that says you can carry a concealed weapon. And you're purchasing here before that came, because every gun I purchased here was with a CCW, which means you go in, show your card, fill out the paperwork, get the background check, walk out with the gun. Before that, you had to buy the gun, wait 2 weeks. Oh, and there was another part to that. You have to go to the sheriff's department or your local police station with the gun, and they have to do a safety inspection on it, which means they're going to write down the serial number again and put it with your name. And they used to also require a shell that had been fired from it, so they could keep it for
ballistics.
Yeah, but they quit doing that because I guess that's not really good science, because a lot of them look the same. Yeah, you get pulled in for a murder rap. It's like, I haven't even fired the gun yet.
You guys fired the gun. You killed the guy.
Yeah, but they yeah, so that was the old way, and that cost me a lot of money, and I did it because I live in the Metro Detroit area, and I'm carrying a fucking gun if I can. That's just my thinking. Then now it's like you go sit at some hillbilly fuck's house that's certified, and it's like a weekend class, and you may or may not shoot a gun, or you might just drink beer with the guy on his Hey, you got to see. It's still $500 to get the initial license, but then you renew it every 3 years. I think it's $200.
Yeah, and here it's even cheaper because the CCW here is like $150 or $200 for 5 years, and a regular one's $40 or $50 for 1 year.
Yeah,
for the non-CCW.
Yeah, the only difference between Michigan and a lot of the rest of the Midwest is everything's like East Coast prices over here. It's like everything's $500. It's gonna cost me between Stacy's car and Grayson's car. Yeah, I'm like $480 in on vehicle registrations this month. It's like, holy shit. So, but yeah, that's the process of purchasing handguns in Michigan. Anything what they consider long guns, you just go in the store and fill out the form and do the background check, and it's all yours.
See, I'm pretty sure. I don't know about long guns, but I know shotguns in Iowa, you can pretty much just walk in. I don't think there's even a background check. You just walk in, plop down your money, and fucking walk out with one.
Now, there is something here with repeating rifles or what they call assault style rifles. I think there's an extra provision now I think they actually ask you, hey, are you going to go shoot up a school or place of work? And if you say no, then they hand you the gun. No, I don't know. I know they've put something in, like you can't, I don't think they can sell them with high-capacity magazines anymore. You can go buy them in the same fucking store, but I don't think they can come with.
Yeah.
I think they can only come with 10-shot magazines. And shotguns, they have all kinds of rules about barrel lengths here. You got to be careful with that.
I remember the weirdest Canadian law I saw was that, so you can have an AR-15 there, and you can have like a 30-round mag, but they're all pinned to only hold 10 rounds.
Oh, yeah. Not hard to get around, but if you do, you go to prison. Yeah.
But then there's something like you can have like a sawed-off shotgun there. Like, that's cool. Here,
Yeah.
it's extremely illegal.
In Australia, it's perfectly legal to have a shotgun that's this long. It's completely, totally legal. Here, it's like 25 years in prison. Oh, Michigan's weird because they just made switchblades legal like 2 or years ago. I still haven't got one because I think they're dangerous and stupid. Like, shove that in your pocket and bend over. Never liked them for that. I do like the folding ones because at least you got some control. But the ones that pop out the end, and they want $500 for them. It's like, that's stupid. But like saps and weighted gloves here, like punching gloves, you go to prison for that shit. They catch you with it here. Knives that are like more than, if they're longer, if the blade is longer than the palm to the tip of your finger here is essentially the rule of thumb. They have a measurement, but that's the rough thing. It's prison time. If they catch you with a dagger here with double bladed on both sides, it's like huge prison time. But if you have a Glock with like 20 hollow points in, oh, that's cool. It's like, wait a minute, which one's going to do more damage? Swords and shit, totally illegal here. Tear gas, you have to use the real lightweight stuff here. You can't use the liquid bullet shit. Tasers are illegal for civilians to own, which I don't understand. It's like that. You're not going to kill anyone with those. I think it's because of rape, though. That they, because there's, see, the thing with Michigan, there's a lot, especially where I live, there's like 50 colleges here. And so, of course, that's just campus predatory action all the time. So they have a lot of weird rules. That's why they don't like the saps and the weighted gloves and stuff, because those guys will just punch out women and drag them off and rape them. They have a lot of laws here around that. So, because then we'll have the weird case like we did in Ypsi like 10 years ago where this guy actually got off. I think I told you this story. A girl had been raped and murdered at the Eastern Michigan University campus, which is about a mile from my house. And they found this guy's semen at the scene, and he said, I didn't have anything to do with it. And there's like, this girl was strangled to death and raped. He goes, yeah, but see, all the semen was outside her body. It wasn't inside it. And they're like, why is your semen there then? You know, and it was a court thing. And he's like, well, I just saw the body. She was naked, and I jerked off on it. And like, this defense actually worked because they couldn't prove that he hit action. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So then what's the anti-rape group on campus? Operation Rescue, or it's a nationwide one.
I never knew they had one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big women's rights anti-rape group on campus. The thing in Michigan that they did was all these girls went out, they paid for the classes, they all got CCW licenses. They can all carry guns because in Michigan you can carry a gun on a campus.
Just not pepper spray.
Just, well, no,
Tasers. Yeah.
it's one of the few states I think where you can legally carry. Like if you went to U of M, you just have a 9mm on your hip as long as you got a permit for it. But mainly because of the campus sex predator shit, not because they love the Second Amendment or anything, because they're tired of just these rape colonies. But yeah, those are my experiences purchasing guns and weapons in Michigan, which I haven't bought a gun in Michigan in 11 years, so it's been a while. Said anyone ever asked me, you know, it's like shooting guns, it's like, I'm always like, it's for sale if you want. There's only 3 guns I won't sell. I said everything else is for sale. So
if you want it, because I'm kind of bored with it, because I can't afford to shoot them all the time. So
No, and I haven't been shooting since you came down to Iowa last. So
that's probably the last time I shot a gun. To be honest with you, I just don't do
I
it.
still need to mail mine away.
Oh yeah, you might have the unintentional automatic. It's like you might be shooting it, and all of a sudden, is that a Glock 18C? What is that?
it'd be cool though. I mean, I think can't you like go to Las Vegas and like basically pay to be at a fire range and fire like automatic weapons and shit?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Okay.
There's a thing. It has like packages. There's like a Counter-Strike package. Like shoot all the guns from Counter-Strike.
And how much was it?
It's like absurdly expensive. It's like that one. I think it's like $500, and it's like some of them. It's like half a mag, or it's like shoot a Glock. It's like what the fuck?
Shoot a Glock right now.
And it's like, yeah, it's all like basically you get like one mag, and then here's some range time. It just seemed lame for how fucking expensive it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's more or less like just how much it costs to have that operating license to like fire fully automatic weapons, and because I don't think there's any state where any automatic weapons. I mean, you can own one
because like there's ranges in California where like go away. This is like a training facility. Like have your we have automatic weapons on site for you to use because they have like the Gatling gun and shit there. Like they test like there's ranges like that in California, but yeah, like in cities and stuff like that, no. But there's certain places where it's legal to have like full auto and stuff like that. But
what's that called? You gotta have like what's that called? A Title V permit or something?
Yeah, something like that.
You essentially don't have any rights if you legally own a fully automatic weapon because they can just come into your house at any time, because you have to have that shit stored in like a bank vault when you're not. Because if anyone steals that, oh fuck. That's why I laugh. I just had this conversation recently about how someone was arguing about why people need assault rifles, and it's like, what? Who needs a fully automatic clip-fed magazine? I said, well, no one. No, the military. He's like, well, what do you mean? Why people have them all the time? It's like, those aren't fully automatic. It's like, oh, I've seen them shoot them. They're like, brrr. I said, no, they're not legally. No one can own shit like that legally. That these fully it's like that's a misnomer. That people can just go in a store. They like think you can go into a store and just like, I want that BAR. Okay, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there's a video I saw. They're changing up how the fire team works in the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay.
So normally you have the way a fire team is. You have a squad leader, and then you have like 4 guys. They're the fire team. You have like the guy in the front who's kind of like the scout. He just has a regular ass M16. Then you have your gunner. He has the saw. Then you have your assistant gunner, where he helps the saw gunner sometimes, but he just has an M16. If that guy goes down, he picks up the saw.
Yeah.
And then you have it's like a grenadier. It's a guy who has the M203. Yeah, grenadier. He has the M203 on it. So now they're changing it up. So now they're going to have a squad leader, an assistant squad leader, and then now there's no saws anymore. Well, I mean, they're phasing them out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's called the IAR. It's basically an M16, but it's piston driven.
Okay. Yeah.
It's from HK.
Yeah. Changing up.
And they're all fully automatic, so everybody in the squad's going to have this gun.
Yeah.
And then there's one guy who has a drone.
Drone man.
And then there's another guy who has like a specialized grenade launcher.
Okay.
Like it's not an attached thing. It's like it's a grenade launcher itself.
Vietnam style.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty. It's like that's a lot of changes because the Marines are switching over to this. I can't remember the name, the IAR, and eventually it's like every infantry is gonna have this, but like the Army didn't want it, so like just the Marines are buying these.
Yeah. I was hoping you were gonna say that they're gonna have a pyro man. Man with a giant backpack with a flamethrower.
I don't know what kind of rounds they're gonna give that grenadier.
They should have those things like they do. Remember that crappy movie that was, well, it wasn't crappy. Those weapons that they had, it was a Peter Weller movie. It was based on the Philip K. Oh, Screamers.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want the guy that deploys the mobile swords. It's just like the drones that are just spitting buzzsaws that fly out of the ground. It's like, that'll deter combat. Remember I was telling you that weird story about how the Army, or I'm sorry, the Air Force lost what was called the M240 Bravos or whatever?
Yeah, the machine guns?
Yeah, they lost 2 of those and a bunch of grenades and explosives. They found them all.
Okay.
This is somebody's house. Somebody who worked. Someone was an airman. He just stole them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, have fun in prison the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Can we be bothered to hide them? Just like, oh, just put them in my house somewhere.
They're hiding in plain sight.
He was telling people he was gonna do it. It's like, okay, this guy's a dumbass. I mean, that was a scary story because I've never fired one of those, but you've told me about them and I've seen them in action. Those are wildly destructive weapons.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Around.
Yeah, like when I fired it, you have to have a guy lay on top of you, like he's your assistant gunner. He lays on top of you while you fire it, and it's dug into the ground. It has like this 3-pronged, what do you call that? Tripod that like sticks in the ground. It's got sandbags on it. Yeah, and I remember like during MCT, there's like this it's kind of this thing where like it's like an all day or it's like a 3-day event, and it can be all night, and like it's kind of like fake warfare and stuff like that. And we all have blanks, but like somebody had the M240 Bravo with blanks, and like he thought like, oh, the enemy's coming, and like we're all like half falling asleep, and he's just Jesus Christ, because your ears get all of that gas and leaving that gun, they go directly to your ears.
Yeah, that's a pretty wildly destructive weapon.
Yeah, I mean it's 7.62 and it's firing at an insane rate. So.
Yeah, it doesn't really make like a gun sound. It makes a roaring sound.
No, it's like you ever see like footage of a C-130 Spectre gunship and those Balfour cannons.
Yeah,
they're like boom, boom, boom. It's like increase the rate of it. And that's what it sounds like up close.
Yeah, it's pretty effective. They need a guy that fires those port guns. Those M16s that just like run through a clip in a second.
Yeah.
Ones that were made for shooting out of Bradleys or something.
They didn't even put sights on it because there's no way you're going to aim it.
These are port gun guys. They just walk around, 80-round drum magazine. Whoop! He's done. He's empty.
Well, that's the thing about the IAR is like they're not putting like they're still just using standard like 30-round magazines.
Yeah.
They're working on getting a drum clip, but I don't think they're reliable enough to
they never feed. Right.
Yeah.
That's why like at the Thompsons, you always see in the gangster movies, they had the drum magazine. Like the gangsters like the look of it, but the guys that were actually fighting in World War II, they never, because those were around. You could get them, but they always jammed. Like nobody wanted them. And I guess they're really hard to load too, because those you had to like wind them, like they had clock wound springs, like a 30-pound gun. Have fun with that. Carry that 20 miles. All right. Well, I'm about talked out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this week for the American Greed Factory podcast is Nathan.
Colin.
Andrew.
Goodbye, America.
They are the focus of evil in the modern world.